man. We've got the Pokemon Black and White 2 run coming up next with TrevPerson, so get excited for that, everybody. We've got some awesome prize incentives and things like that going. In the meantime, we're going to get a couple donations in for you all. We've got $100 from Aptaran, who says, now that I have a job, I would like to give back a little as thanks for the great cause and proving that games are good for people. Thanks again, and have a great day. Runner's choice to where the money goes. We got a $13 donation from Soapy Foten, who says, excited for Pokemon Black and White 2 run. It's one of the best games in the series. Putting my money to naming Edward in Final Fantasy IV Spoon, as that is the only name befitting such a spoony bard. Oh, man. We got $150 from MyShar. He says, watched a last few GDQs. About time I stepped up and donated. Also, let's be honest, 2 punch-outs at the same time? Who doesn't want to see that? Guys, make sure to continue to get those donations in to see that punch-out game. We got a couple hours left. We are getting closer, closer and closer and closer. So please, so we can see some awesome, awesome punch-out action, get those donations in. We have a $15 donation from Kiros. I have no idea how the punch-out, super punch-out, is going to work. Well, let's donate to fix that, no? Another $15 from P. Noah. My girlfriend's mom is a 3-time cancer survivor, donating in her honor, and also putting this towards the punch-out run. We have a $30 donation from Love Not War. My money's going to the simultaneous punch-out run. Can't wait for this awesome display of skill. All right, everybody. It has been great spending some time with you all. This is Kung Fu Fruit Cup. We're going to play a Twitch ad, and then we will be ready for that Pokemon Black and White 2 run. So everybody get excited.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Mizzlesticks, and I'll be hanging out with you for the Pokemon Black, White 2 run. Gonna go ahead and get some donations going here. Got $100 from Roush, Pokepun Master here. Hope the run goes well, and may your Excadrill be one that pierces the heavens. Also, don't turn the run into an Ember, please. $150 from Aussie Dancer. Love me some Kingdom Hearts. It has to be my all-time favorite franchise. Loving how Kung Fu is on the mic doing an amazing job as host. Good luck to Rebel in this run. $100 to the Punch-Out Bid War because we have to see that. And $50 goes to naming Link's horse Fufu because Fufu is the best companion for any journey. Thank you, AGDQ, for an awesome week of games. As Kung Fu said earlier, we are still a bit short of that bonus game, still a bit short for the Punch-Out and Super Punch-Out 2 games, 1 controller run. We're about just shy of $45,000 of the $75,000 to reach that, so make sure you get those donations in. You do have until the end of the Mega Man Relay race to do so, but the sooner we can meet that, the sooner the better. Andrew E. donated $10, said thanks for the great KH run. Here's $10 to match the death total. Got $50 from Dreadnought. I dedicate this for my grandfather, who has not only survived skin cancer as a teen, but is now fighting stomach cancer and winning. My grandfather was a cornerstone of my childhood and helped encourage my video game hobby with new copies of the Kingdom Hearts games each time one was released. Let us vanquish the darkness that is cancer. $30 from Alliteration Advocate. Love seeing the community come together and help people through playing video games. And who says playing video games never helped anyone? Put this towards the Punch-Out bonus. $150 from Jay Miles. Thanks for AGDQ. Really looking forward to the Link to the Past randomizer, but first, let's complete this Punch-Out incentive. Got a lot of love coming in for the Punch-Out incentive. We are getting closer. $50 from Skipper Otter. Hey, GDQ, put in 100+ hours these past 2 weeks at a restaurant and got paid today. So I knew I had to share some with such a great cause. Keep up the amazing work, and here's to glitching out cancer. I've got $22.22 from A Bad Idea. TrevPerson turned 22 years old during this GDQ, so here's $22.22 for one of the sweetest, kindest people in speedrunning. Trev's runs always bring a smile to my face. We had $10 from Shinrad, first time donating. Kingdom Hearts is my all-time favorite series. Harp! My donation might not be as big as Sora's shoe, but I hope it can give someone extra time on Earth to at least see Kingdom Hearts 3. $50 from Master Train. Hey everyone, Master Train here. Just wanted to say Vohio to everyone on the couch, and hope you guys have been having a great time. Kingdom Hearts run was actually really good. That was enjoyable. Got $100. That's a tough name. I'm gonna completely butcher this. Hydrargyrolio. I apologize if I screwed that up. $100 says, 1 player, 2 games? Let's go. Have $50 from Kate the Grey 218. 5 minutes, $5 per minute under estimate as promised. Well done, Rebel Dragon, plus a little extra for the cause. Thank you to everyone involved with AGDQ for all you do. Just a reminder, we do still have some interesting prizes coming up. We do still have the 8th generation console bundle prize available. If you donate $150 or more during the overall course of AGDQ 2018, you'll be entered for a PlayStation 4, an Xbox One, and a Nintendo Switch. Really neat value if you win that for $150 cumulative donation, so make sure you get those donations in. Got a lot of awesome Pokemon prizes coming up too. We've got a Kalos starter keychain. We got Kalos starter keychains for $5 during the Pokemon run, as well as a Latios and Latios print. But the big one I'm looking at right down towards the bottom of this list is the Snorlax beanbag chair for $20 during the Pokemon run. You've got to get in on that. All right. I'm going to get ready to throw this over to the words are hard today. Get ready to throw this over to the runner. $25 from Zanzu says, here's to all the amazing people helping make this awesome event happen. You, the real MVPs. Now let's break the 900K mark. Donation goes to Reader's Choice. My choice is to not validate the Legend of Zelda Link to the Past randomizer. We can't validate that. We got to save the frames, guys. All right, I'm going to throw this over to TrevPerson. We're getting ready. We are ready to get started with the Pokemon Black White 2 run. Let's hear it for him.
Yeah. Alrighty, so before we even get started, we're going to be attempting some RNG manipulation right at the start. So I'm going to start the clock now, and at a certain second, I'm going to be opening the game. And at that point, the run will officially begin. So just not to distract me, I'm going to say ready and then go when the run starts. So we're looking for 23 seconds. And I'll explain this a little bit more once we fully get into it, because it's coming up now. But there's quite a bit that goes into the RNG manipulation for this game. So give me a sec here, and ready, go. Alrighty, so what I was doing there is by starting the game on a very specific second, like seeds in this game, RNG seeds that is, are divided on a second-by-second basis, which is actually different from the Generation 4 of Pokemon, where it's on a frame-by-frame basis. However, there's a bit of luck involved. So hopefully we get it. If we don't, that's fine. We have a backup cart, which may prove necessary because it is luck-based. But while I'm setting up the intro here with all the donation incentive names, why don't the couch introduce themselves really quick?
All right. Hi, I'm Keyzeron.
I'm Tyrant14.
And I am Shenanigans.
Alrighty, so
Or
yeah.
Iman.
Alright, so I do believe B's won for this. Oh my god, I'm not... I'm not quite used to this. Alright, so unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see whether we hit our the correct seed or not quite yet. I'm going to check my ID. Normally we can actually know by this point, but it's a timed thing. So if we get through the intro really quickly, then what we'd be able to see is a text box that says creating save data with a clock at the bottom right. That clock has 8 positions it can be in, and it just spins in a circle to indicate like something's happening, something's loading, whatever. But it actually starts at a random position based on your seed, but we aren't able to see it because I spent some time going through putting in the incentive names, basically. So we're going to be able to check the ID once I gain control to see if we got the seed, and if not, then I will switch carts, unfortunately, if we did not get lucky. Like I said, it's a full second to hit a seed, so the execution part of it's fairly simple. I'm pretty sure I got it, but you never know. Like, it is luck-based. There are 5 potential seeds based on something I'm not going to delve into too much because it's somewhat complicated, but there's a random parameter that we can't manipulate. and it can take on one of 5 values, and unless it takes the value we want, the RNG manipulation just doesn't work. It's the unfortunate thing about Gen 5 running. So we'll check the ID, and if not, we'll go through until where the backup seed is, and we'll just use that. So, but first, I'm going to set the text to fast and turn off battle animations, as well as changing the battle style, and let's see our seed. So that is not correct. So unfortunately, we did not get the good luck. That is fine. So we'll just switch to a backup seed. So what the RNG manipulation was attempting to do is not only is it going to manipulate would it have manipulated our starter, which is going to be Tepig, to have perfect IVs, which we can explain in a little bit. Essentially, right now, though, it's like their potential. Think of it like almost like Pokemon genetics, I guess. But it also is going to would have allowed me to have manipulated encounters through most of the early game, so that we don't get anything but what we want. But unfortunately, that did not quite work out as I'd hoped. I was hoping for good luck, but it's a marathon. Normally, that would just be like a reset, but thanks to the backup cart, we can just go through. So, I mean, I'm just going to do the movement like I would normally, and unfortunately, I can't know anything that's going to happen coming up. But it's not too much of an issue.
Yeah, one thing about the RNG manip in this game, like it varies between every DS, so no DS is going to have like the same seed in RNG manipulation. It's based on the MAC address of the DS, so that's like one thing that's different.
Yeah, it makes routing this game very difficult. You can't just like look up what another runner does and copy their movement, copy their seed, because it's like he said, it's different for every DS. So it makes running this game have a fairly high barrier to entry. It's why it has very few runners, because it takes quite a bit of work to get into.
You know, it was only recently that we had a good setup for emulator to speed up the process. Beforehand, it was a really slow and arduous process.
Yeah.
Shoutouts to Project Revo for the help with that.
It's still really slow, but it is much better now.
All right, so we got Tepig, oh no, I got Tepig, but it's true actually, Tepig is quite terrible. I'm actually not a fan of really any of the Gen 5 starters, but definitely for the early game of this speedrun, Tepig has the most advantages compared to the other ones. Its fire typing is good for both the second and third gym, so that's why we choose it. If we had manipulated the Tepig, so what we would have gone for, assuming the RNG manipulation had worked, and we'd gotten lucky, would the Tepig would be a naughty nature Tepig. This would give it, basically natures in this game increase a stat by 10% and decrease another stat by 10%, and or there's some natures that just keep everything neutral, but for the most part, those aren't considered useful. And the naughty nature would have upped our attack stat by 10% and lowered our special defense stat by 10%. And what that does, like, there just aren't many like Pokemon that use special attacks in the early game, so our special defense being lowered wouldn't have been a huge issue. So that makes it optimal for the speedrun. Alright, so yeah, this particular Tepig's attack stat is terrible, so it's good that we have the backup seed, because we'd have a lot of issues with this Tepig if we were to run with it. So the backup seed is right after this cutscene, it's saved. So we will go through this cutscene just to go through everything we'd go through normally. And then we will make the switch real quick. Didn't want to have to use it, but like I said, it's not much you can do when it's partially luck-based. So Gen 5 definitely started the trend towards more cutscenes in Pokemon games, and we're going to see that a little bit. It's not nearly as bad as, like, perhaps 6th or definitely 7th Gen. Also, here. But particularly in the later stages of the game, we're going to have a couple cutscenes that span the full height of the DS, take a minute or more. But we'll have plenty of time for donations. That's all that means. All right. So we're finally going to get our running shoes, and after this cutscene, I will make the switch. Do we have that? I believe I have it in my bag. I should have taken it out already. All right, so while we go through this cutscene, and while I'm going to make the switch right after that, we do have time for a few donations really quick.
All right, I've got plenty of them. Going to start off $50 from WWE Freak 385. Had to donate during the Pokemon run, one of my favorite franchises since being a child. Good luck from Germany.
All right. So let me see here if we can make the switch pretty quick. It is rather unfortunate that we have to do this, like I said, but
And again, the only thing that he's really changing is this would be if he would have hit the correct seed, so it's not like it's a different file or anything.
yeah, no,
same
like
names.
it's going to be in the exact same position, and like I said, in like an actual PB attempt, we would just reset until we get good enough luck to use the correct Tepig. But in a marathon setting, we're just trying to showcase the run. So, like, this is best without like boring you guys, because like, if we wanted to just get it without using the backup cart, I just end up resetting over and over until we got good luck. But that's not practical. So we're going to continue the exact same point we left off, just with a superior Tepig, one that we would have gone through, like farmed for, just with resets in actual PB attempts. So this is more to keep it rolling. Looks like this backup seed actually has an apostrophe instead of a comma in the file name. That is an error. Just move it down a little. Oh my god, I'm sorry. All right, so we do have to go through the obligatory catching tutorial
What are you
here.
looking at me for?
I don't know who made the backup.
Me neither. I have no clue.
All right, so we do have to learn how to catch a Pokemon really quick. I think most people know how it works by this point, but... And then after this is like really, like... So at this point, assuming we'd gotten the RNG manipulation, we'd be able to, like, I'd be taking a very specific path through all of these early game rounds. Through all of, like, if we'd hit the seed, then at this point, we'd still know, like, kind of the state of the RNG. Like, as long as I move a certain way, if we'd hit the seed, I'd be able to, like, avoid all encounters through these opening routes and only encounter what I want, because ideally there are a couple Pokemon I'd want to catch that are useful for learning HM moves, which are necessary or useful for progressing through the game. But I'm just going to have to run through and hope for fewer encounters, as few as I can, and right away we're going to get some bad luck. So we are going to lose quite a bit of time to this, unfortunately. But we can just run away from everything.
We do get repels early on. After the first gym, we get repels, so we won't have to deal with it that much.
Yep, the way the marts work in this game is they increase their stock as you go through the game, as you get gym badges. And right after the first gym, we'll have access to repels. So this won't be an issue anymore. And like either way, you actually can't manipulate past the first gym, and we'll explain why when we get there. All right, and this is Alder. He was the champion in Black and White. You never actually fought him in that game because he gets beaten by the antagonist of the game right before you get there, and you end up fighting the evil team instead. And he takes a relatively minor role in this game. He's no longer the champion, and he just helps you through the tutorial areas, teaching you how to play, or like, you know, how to play the game, how Pokemon battling works. But right now, we are heading to a place called Flockacy Ranch to meet our rival, Hugh, who I guess on this file is named Bees. And we have our first battle here. Most of the early battles are relatively simple. We only have a few attacks. This Tepig, like I said, so we can explain individual values actually now. So this Tepig has 31 in all of his individual values, or IVs is what they're also called for short. And individual values, or IVs, basically are a number between 0 and 31. And that is a number that determines the number of, I guess, additional points they get in that stat by level 100. So they don't have it all right away, but as they grow, as they gain the levels, they're going to be getting more and more stats, like a higher stat total than a Pokemon that has lower individual values. So this Tepig has maximum individual values in every single stat. So by level 100, he'd have 31 more points in every stat than a Pokemon that were to have zeros, for instance. Which actually, pretty much every Pokemon in the early game that you fight from a trainer has zeros throughout, like across the board for their individual values. And they get a little bit higher as you go throughout the game, but most unimportant trainers are never going to have more than zeros. I think the Ace Trainer class more often will have higher individual values, though, at least in my experience when I tested.
Ace Trainer is usually around like the 15 mark.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think gym leaders and whatnot are 31s somewhere.
Yeah, in challenge mode right away, I know the gym leaders are going to have like 30s.
Yeah, they're like really high up there in challenge mode.
All right, so we have our first rival battle. It's around the same level as the first rival battle in Black and White, but in Black and White, I believe the rival actually, his Pokemon has a move of that Pokemon's type, so in Black and White, he'd have Water Gun right now. But, ooh, nice crit.
Good crit.
So yeah, in the original Black and White, he'd have Water Gun by this point, but in this game, he still only has Tackle, so we don't even have to worry about taking much damage, and that crit makes us take even less damage. Our health isn't much of an issue at this stage, but if I do get like crit or, I don't know, some bad rolls, we can end up lower than expected and have to heal, so hopefully that doesn't happen.
Yeah, so criticals are just I think it's a 1 in 16 chance to occur. So
yes.
Yeah.
They'll be scattered throughout the run. Obviously, some of them like that are really good. If you get critical, they can be really bad, but hopefully we don't see too many hitting us and we see a lot hitting our enemies.
Yep, so this is one area where I probably will be expecting quite a few encounters. If we were still on like the proper seed and manipulating encounters, what I'd want to do is encounter a Psyduck and a Pidove while I'm here. They are useful for learning the HMs Strength, Surf, and Fly, which are all very useful in this run, particularly Fly and Surf. Although Strength does have a couple uses late in the game. So, I mean, I could encounter them randomly, but it's very unlikely, especially since I believe Pidove only has a 5% chance to encounter in this area, so it's not likely. Also, we could manipulate this spinner, but we're just going to try to get past him there, and we're going to have to pass him again while going to this X attack, which will be useful later. So hopefully, just going to... All right, nice. So something interesting about that spinner is almost every spinner in the game, and actually you saw this when I did that, but every spinner in the game will turn towards you if you run past them, except for that spinner. And like just instinctively, I walked past him actually, but it's notable that he never actually turns towards you if you run past him, and he's the only spinner in the game that I know of like that. So that's pretty interesting. All right, and the whole purpose of this particular, I guess, event is we were looking for the ranch owner's herdier after Hugh ran off. Hugh's backstory or arrival, Bees, is that a couple years ago when the evil Team Plasma, who was the person we just encountered who ran away, is a member of that team. They're the evil team that tried to take over the region in the previous game. Our rival had his sister's Purloin, a Pokemon stolen from him. I mean, should I catch this? Because if I don't encounter a Pidove, it's still useless. I don't think I'm going to catch it because, like, without something, like, we're still going to have to get Ducklet at that stage. And, there's no chance anymore to get Pidove. So as fortunate as that Psyduck could have been, without Pidove, it's not useful, actually. So we might as well not bother catching it since we're going to have to get Ducklet either way.
Yeah, Ducklet learns all the other HMs anyway, so may as well not waste the time catching the Psyduck.
Yeah.
Just catch the thing that learns it all.
Yeah, the Psyduck is unfortunately useless without the Pidove to... Like, either way, we're going to have to back it up.
Well, you did have to catch a third Pokemon eventually.
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't thinking of that, but we can still get the Minxino. So I'm going to grab an X speed here. Throughout this run, a lot of Pokemon runs use X items, which boost your stats one stage in the older games, and I guess in Gen 7 they boost them 2 stages, actually. But back in this game, they still only boost 1 stage. And a lot of Pokemon games will use X items to set up for sweeps and make up for, bad stats or weaknesses in certain battles that would otherwise be a problem. But in this game, we're actually only going to use 3 throughout the run, and normally you only use 2, but one of them I'm going to be using for safety on one particular fight. We're going to grab an X Defend we don't normally grab. And other than that, thanks to the Pokemon we end up using later, we will not need the X items for the most part. I am getting owned by this paralysis. Hello? Thank you. That burn also, sometimes burn is useful. Ember does have a small chance to burn, and the burn status in this game reduces the opponent's attack by half. But we get a free heal after that fight, and I wasn't anywhere in danger, so reducing his attack wasn't useful, and the residual damage also wasn't useful because he always faints in 2 embers. So in that case, burns like that just result in extra text and actually slow us down. So these battles we're going through now actually are intended to teach us all about type matchups, but our opponents don't have moves of their type, so I guess it's more intended like for you to use Ember on them, I guess, and learn that, oh yeah, you can beat the grass one with Ember and the water one not so much, but without them actually having an attack of that type, it seems rather pointless to me. All right, so that was our last battle, actually, before the gym that we're going to be heading to now. Black and White 2 is notable, actually. I believe this is the only game where the player character's hometown has a gym in it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that is the case.
Yeah, I think that's true.
That's right.
Yeah.
I know up to 5th gen that was the case, and then neither of the newer games is that true as well. All right. So we have a couple NPCs talking to us. For the most part, what they're going to say is not important. The guy who first spoke to us was like he awards you medals for performing certain things in the game. He's going to be in every Pokemon Center from now on, and if we ever accidentally talk to him, we're going to lose like over a minute or maybe even more, because he's going to have like a ton of medals for me probably. I've never done that, but that would be interesting. You never want to talk to him.
It never gets old that he just jumps off a cliff to talk to you.
All right, so going through the early game, we've actually accumulated quite a few items here. We have those orange berries, some potions, and like we're gonna be needing them quite a bit just due to Tepig's own inadequacy. I'm gonna be hating on Tepig quite a bit throughout this run because
Tepig's not a good Pokemon.
no. For a while, Pokemon runs did not allow save and quit, and at that stage, Tepig and his evolutionary line were used for the whole run. But ever since save and quit was allowed, actually, the normal run adopted a challenge mode strat, which was to catch a different Pokemon, Drillbur, partway through the run, who is far superior. So you'll see that when we get there after the second gym. But Drillbur and Excadrill, its evolution, perform far better than Tepig ever could. Tepig has a lot of problems, particularly in the late game.
Yeah. I was the only one that's run the Ember route before the RTA switch, and it was bad.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
It was literally the reason I didn't pick up White 2, was because I saw how bad the route was.
All right, so this is our first gym. It is the normal type gym, and there's 2 trainers that we just, like, there's no puzzle or anything. A lot of gyms will have puzzles that you need to solve before you can get to the gym leader. There's no puzzle. We just need to defeat these 2 trainers, and neither one of them is particularly threatening. We just need to be watching our health as we go through it. I'm probably going to end up healing. So believe it or not, and you'll see why maybe when we get to him, but Charon is actually one of the most threatening gym leaders throughout this entire run, because our Tepig isn't particularly strong yet. He's not like over leveled or anything. We just started training him, and we skipped so many trainers in the early game that he actually has a decently hard time with Charon. And if you do the optimal strat against Charon, it actually comes down to a speed tie, where you have the same speed as his Pokemon, and it's just random who goes first. And if you lose that speed tie, you die. We are not going to be doing that strat. We're going to be doing a little bit of a safer strat. For the most part, that should result in a win. But it's going to be my first safety save of the run, because Charon could absolutely kill me if he gets like a crit, or we get maybe a bad roll, since I'm not going to be in Blaze, which is Tepig's ability, something that we're going to be abusing later. But I'm not going to be able to use that in this particular fight. So if I get bad ranges and get low damage on my tackles, then his Pokemon will survive and we won't be able to knock it out. Like, out of all the fights in the run, believe it or not, Charon is probably the scariest if you do it optimally, but since we're going to be playing it a little bit safer, there's another fight I have in mind about midway through the run that I am extremely likely to die to. There's so many ways to die to it. Charon is relatively tame in comparison. Alright. We're falling relatively low, but that's fine. In fact, I think if we were doing optimal strat, this would be good. But either way, we're going to heal up to full here. I'm going to hold on to that fresh water for the fight. And then we will save. So while I'm doing this, we do have time for a donation or 2.
Alrighty. Let me see here. Got $10 from Scathy39. Hey Trev, good luck on the run. Don't forget to equip Lucky Egg and try not to get crit by Charles. Everyone on your Discord is rooting for you. Money goes to Trev's choice, but only if he wants to name the Ocarina of Time file Ice Arrows.
I do not. Absolutely not, I'm afraid. All right, so Charon is our first gym leader, like I said. He's notable. All his Pokemon have workup. All the gym leaders give you TMs after the battle, and for the most part, all their Pokemon use that move. So his Pokemon are going to set up with workup, which increases their attack stats. Patrat was really nice and just double workups, so he's going to die without ever attacking. So he had actually, by that point, doubled his attack stat, but without ever attacking, he's not a threat. And then Lillipup is the real issue. If Lillipup crits me, again, it's a speed tie between me and Lillipup, and unless he outspeeds me on a later turn, I'm not going to be able to get into Blaze. So let me see how this goes. He's not attacking. Okay, so if he goes first, that's really good. He did not, so Ember did not kill. So he's going to heal on this turn. And now what we're going to do is I'm not going to risk the speed tie. If I were to attack now, if I lose the speed tie, I die. So we're going to heal up again and just play it safe and then go for tackle, and that should knock him out. All right, there we go. Not ideal, but that's fine.
So he was trying to get put to low health there so that he would be in Blaze, which he touched on earlier as Tepig's ability, which just boosts his fire moves by 33% when he's below 33% HP.
Well, it boosts your move by 1.5 times when you're 33% or lower.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. We're going to be seeing a lot of the Blaze ability. We're going to be making use of the Blaze ability in the next fight, rather. The next gym, sorry. The next gym, we're going to be trying to keep our HP relatively low while still being in the safe range, just to be below 1/3, so that we can boost the power of Ember, because there's going to be a lot of Pokemon where it's just going to be much better to use Ember. A couple bug Pokemon, but it is, in and of itself is a poison gym. But notably, there is a lot of coughing in that gym, and they have high defense, and Ember is a special attack, which calculates against special defense. So we're going to be making good use of Ember in that gym. All right. So at this point, actually, we're going to receive an item called the X-Transceiver, which is like a video chat type item. Like you call important characters throughout the story with it, and you see their face. And actually, believe it or not, this item and this upcoming scene is why in a normal run, RNG manipulation would cease at this point. We can't do it anymore. And that is because the characters are blinking. And their blinking is calling RNG constantly and advancing the frames. Unless I were to mash through all of this text frame perfectly, and this game is 30 FPS, it would be impossible to manipulate past this point. So that is, at this point, this is when the RNG manipulation would end, just for that reason alone. Thankfully, though, we are going to be able to buy repels, and actually, I don't think we got too many encounters in the early game, despite not being able to manipulate it. I think it was 3.
I think it's 4.
Yeah, I think.
Oh yeah, there was one at the end, unfortunately. That's not that bad.
No.
Could certainly be worse.
Yeah.
All right, so we received the Sea Gear. We're not going to use that at all. Sea Gear actually messes up a lot of RNG manipulation. I don't think it would have mattered if it was on now, but it's not important. All right, so I do not have the Pidove and the Psyduck, so we're just going to go straight here, buy 5 Super Potions, which will get us through the early game, and spend the rest of our money on repels. Oops, actually not the rest of money. We only need, I'm going to buy 6. Have 1 extra, just in case. All right, so we are now basically through what many consider like, in actual PB attempts, this is pretty much the end of the early game. A lot of up to Charon is reset heavy due to failing the manipulation or dying to Charon if you're playing the fight more risky. But at this point, the run is much more consistent. And generally, hopefully won't see many scary situations other than in Verbank Gym. Like a crit could be really bad, but if everything goes according to plan, we will make it through Tepig's section of the run unscathed. We do have another cutscene here, so I think we have time for another donation while I go through this and move forward.
All right. Got $20 from Nintendo's Trickster. Gotta donate during the great defeater of Chobin's run. Seriously though, Trev is my favorite runner, and I'm always happy when I get to see him live. Good luck from Norway.
All right, so this trainer previously served as a roadblock. He wouldn't let us advance unless we'd obtained the first badge, but now that we have it, he's going to battle us. We could normally abuse Blaze in this fight as well. Am I in Blaze? I believe my health was still relatively high. We are actually in Blaze, so I'm going to Ember here. Ooh, I've got the burn. That's interesting. Ooh, he went for Endure, but the burn is actually going to kill him anyway, so that's really nice that we got that burn. If you don't have that burn, he would have lived there. Endure actually prevents you from fainting that turn. Will keep you at 1 HP, but it doesn't stop the burn. So that was really nice. Good luck. Oops. I messed up a little bit there. What I'm going to be trying to do is whenever I enter a cutscene, I want to enter the cutscene in the... Most cutscenes have like a set position for the player character to stand, and I want to enter as close to that as possible because I don't want the cutscene to delay at all while waiting for my character to move to that position. So right there, I did mess up a little bit, but you're going to see that throughout most cutscenes in this game. All right, and here's our first spinner besides the one that we normally manipulate. Oh, I paused early. So we want to try to pass her. We actually have to pass her several times. You're going to get to know this spinner very well. I believe her name is Linda. I'm very familiar with her because we're going to have to come back here and pass her yet again. So hopefully we're able to get through every time without ever fighting her, but she is definitely a problem.
Something to note right there is Black 2 and White 2 was actually the first set of games where once your repel ran out, it will ask you if you want to renew it, which is really nice because it saves a ton of menuing.
Yeah, you don't have to pause constantly, and it's really quick to, like, it speeds up the run considerably. It really keeps the flow, I guess.
Hi, Mom. Bye, Mom.
All right. So we're going to be introduced to the gym leader of this particular town, Verbank. It's Roxy. And something notable about this game, actually, in 5th Gen in general, I believe Black and White had this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but every gym has its own unique theme that kind of sets the tone, like based on like the character or like the area. So I actually particularly like Roxy's, and I think a lot of people know Roxy's gym's theme that she's going to be singing while we are in the gym. And the song she sings is actually different depending on the version you play. On this version of the game, the English version, she's going to be singing Pokemon. But in the original, the Japanese release, she actually sings Dogar, which is the Japanese name for... Why did I use that? Okay, that's fine. So I'm going to save
extra.
because I can buy more repels.
You had one extra anyway, so should still be fine.
I think I used 2 extra, actually. I might just buy more if it's an issue.
Okay.
I was just absent-mindedly using my repels.
That's the other downside of it asking you is sometimes you just want to hit yes whenever that menu pops up. So they give you the option, but sometimes it makes you make mistakes like that.
Yep. Yeah, I do believe I used 2 extra, which might mean I should buy another, which wouldn't be that bad. So I am in Blaze, actually, which is really nice, just barely, like before. So we can take out this Venipede in 1 hit, and then Coughing is one of those, like I said, a Pokemon with very high physical defense, so being able to use Ember on it will allow me to get through it in just 2 hits. Poison Gas is fine there. We really don't want to get... Ooh, he survived that. All right, the burn will take him out, though. Getting lucky with those burns. And still in Blaze. And Flame Charge is going to be very useful coming up. Flame Charge is an interesting move. It was introduced in Gen 5, this very generation of Pokemon. It is a physical fire move with decent base power that also increases your speed by 1 stage, and that's going to be very useful for some Pokemon coming up. All right. So we do need to keep replacing my Pecha Berry. Hopefully, I mean, we only lost the 1, so that's fine. Hopefully we don't need to use more than that in this fight.
So Trev mentioned that Flame Charge is a physical fire move. After Generation 4, so 4 onward, special and physical moves were switched, so split up. So some fire moves are physical, some are special. That's the case with all moves now. So if you're used to more of the older generations, that's a pretty big change to Gens 4 and 5.
So we did get Poison Gassed again. That could be an issue if the Coughing also poisons me. Because I only have 1 Pecha Berry left, and we really want that for the gym leader.
Nice.
Ooh, but that... All right, that crit...
Great critical.
No, that's really good. All right, we're good. All right. So now just rocks. And we're going to give one more safety save here, just in case, because I could get crit, but other than, like, if we get crit, it's going to send me all the way back to the beginning of the game, because when you faint and, like, you don't have any Pokemon left, it sends you back to the last Pokemon Center you were at, and unfortunately, that was the very first. So throughout this fight, we're going to be fighting the Coughing first, and we do want it to hit us a couple times so that we can be put into Blaze when her second Pokemon comes out, but not too low that it can KO us. And also, did I replace the Pecha Berry?
I don't think you
I don't
did.
think
Ooh, that could be an issue. So good thing that I saved. So I'm going to be using Flame Charge on Whirlipede. If I get poisoned, because I forgot the Pecha Berry, ooh,
That's a scary critical.
that is a scary critical. A
Oh,
crit
wow.
again.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
We're gonna heal now. Just in case she goes for 3 in a row.
Yeah.
All right. So we got 2 Tail Whips on Coughing so that we can 2KO it with Flame Charge, and then because I forgot the Pecha Berry, Whirlipede has an ability called Poison Point, which with a contact move like Flame Charge has a small chance to poison me. If I get poisoned, I'm dead, because I forgot the Pecha Berry. Because she's going to use a move called Venoshock, which would do double damage if I was poisoned. But because it didn't, I lived and everything's fine. That could have been a fatal error, but didn't end up punishing me for it. It's hard to remember everything when you're commentating.
Yeah.
That's why my chat wants to remind me to put on the Lucky Egg. I'm actually notorious for that. So we'll be fine later on. All right. And so now Tepig is going to evolve. I mean, I am certain most people here know how Pokemon evolution works, but it's going to evolve into Pignite, and all of its base stats are going to increase. However, by this point, we are actually approaching the stage in the run where we're going to be replacing Pignite. We are nearly there, but it does have a few more uses, and it is going to be used in the next gym just because the next gym is a bug gym. So it will have some more use, but we are approaching that stage where, unfortunately, Pignite is not going to be particularly useful, except to use Strength. He will use Strength, and that will be his purpose for the rest of the run. All right. So we are going to get Venoshock, not useful for us, but actually a fairly okay move. And right here, I'm going to go down the stairs on the left, actually, because if I was on the right, then when Roxy comes down here, she's going to walk past me. If I was on the right, she'd have to walk around me and walk, I believe, 2 more steps, that would be. So small little things like that for cutscenes so that the NPCs, who, again, just walk everywhere, they aren't running like us, have to walk fewer steps.
The best part of the run's about to come up, too.
Oh, yeah. This part is thrilling. Don't use that. Oh, my God. I almost did it again, dude. I'm just... I believe I'm already down on Repel.
Yeah, you're 1 short right now.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. But this stage of the run is just, it's unfortunately forced. We can't move on without this. We need to take a ship to Castelia City, but the person who operates that ship is here. He wants to be a movie star and quit his job, so we have to come tell him that his dreams are silly and we need him to get the boat for us. And unfortunately, as a part of that, we're actually going to be forced to watch his movie and see how awful it is.
So get your resident sleepers ready.
I'm already holding a yawn.
It has some good music, and like, okay, and one interesting thing about this area, I don't even think, I showed this to Tyrant yesterday, he didn't even know about it. There's actually a tree in the top right section of this area. The very top, like the tree all the way to the right in that outside area that we just left that you can actually surf into. It is completely useless. It is only 1 tile. You can't get anywhere or do anything with it, but you'll be surfing inside of a tree, and it's exciting. Unfortunately, I don't have surf to show you, but take my word for it. Or if you have the game, literally just go there. If you have a Pokemon with surf in your party, just face the tree and press A, and you will find that you are able to surf into it. All right. So this is our captain of the ship we need. He's going to show us his movie. There's nothing really to say about it, I guess, so we could do a couple donations here.
Please do.
All right. I will save us all the trouble here. I've got $300 from Segfault41. Says, thanks for a great event as always. Let's see the double punch-out incentive get met. Then I've also got $20 from Mystic Pyro Freak. Unova's my all-time favorite generations, so you could imagine my surprise when I saw Black White 2 was on the roster. Even with a bad seed, I know your speedrun will still be super effective. Good luck, Trev. Put my donation toward the Punch-Out incentive as a tribute to my favorite Gen 5 Pokemon, Sawk. Just a quick update, we are over 2/3 of the way to that Super Punch-Out and Punch-Out combo run. Make sure you get those donations in. Time is starting to run out on that.
All right, so at this point in the movie, you can see everyone on the bottom screen is falling asleep, just like everyone else in the actual crowd, I hope, because this is unfortunately, this part of the run, we're coming up to, like, in PB attempts, what would normally be a major reset point, and you have to go through this every time before you even know if your run's going to make it past that. It's unfortunate, really, but... And it's not even over. We have to... Now that we've watched it... Oh, we got fast credits. Credits can either take up the full, like the full top screen, or they can only take up half. When they take up half, it shows like a still from the movie. But we got the full screen credits, so frame saved. But yeah, now it's not enough that we had to watch his movie, and like even though the ship captain is heading back now, we still have to unfortunately make our own movie. It has what is more than likely the hardest fight in the entire game, honestly. I don't think I've ever won it. No, I have not actually. So right there, we're gonna try to win it this time. Not a single time have I ever won this fight. Very difficult.
But you could interrupt the fight.
I could. But yeah, this is like a 4-minute section, 4 or 5-minute section that it's really forced. They really want to like introduce and force this like side thing on you when you're playing the game casually. 'Cause they removed contests from Gen 5, and I guess they were trying to replace it first with like the musical and then this, so that you had something else to do besides just like the main battling. But the way they force it onto you is really unfortunate. So we're going to sign up for actually the same movie we just watched, I guess. We're going to attempt to do it even better. I was trying to think of the name of the character, but isn't he just called Papa Roxy in the credits for his own movie? Like, he's just referred to as the father of Roxy. He doesn't have his own name. Not important enough.
He's just so proud of his daughter.
All right, so it's the same matchup as before. Never won this fight. It's clearly impossible. We only have 2 moves, Force Palm and Ice Punch. Force Palm would clearly take out the Poniard, but I just hand slips every time, always Ice Punch.
Yeah!
Oh, no, he thought. Oh, my God. I can't. That was almost amazing.
Oh.
So the battles in the theater aren't scripted, so I did get a random Ice Punch freeze. And if he stayed frozen, that's actually faster, but he thawed out and still attacked me. If he freezes, the battle actually ends instantly. So it'd be really fast. But because he thawed out and still killed me, it ended up being slower than the normal fight. That's unfortunate. I was really hoping that would work out. Like, that would have been some amazing luck. All right, but we're basically done with this segment now. So now things pick back up again. Worst part of the run. Very thrilling stuff, really. All right, so we're going to head back out, and we're going to be introduced once again to the evil team of this game, Team Plasma. We encountered one earlier in Flockacy Ranch, but we didn't end up battling him. He just ran away. But now he's got friends, so he's going to be emboldened. So we're going to... They have a really good theme, actually. I really enjoy both the Team Plasma theme when you battle them in both the original Black and White and this one are really good. I think a lot of people tell me the first one's better, but I am definitely partial to this one. But the battle itself is not going to be very interesting because our Tepig just evolved into Big Knight, as you may recall, and at this stage, it is fairly powerful relative to what we're going to be fighting here. Especially for in Blaze. Blaze will be useful. I don't think we're still in Blaze. I'm a little bit too high HP for that. Yeah, quite a bit too high, but it doesn't really matter. It just means we need to use an alternate strat in a double. It's going to mean relying on our double partner, who is going to be Hugh in that fight.
And he's not very reliable.
Hugh is very useless in every doubles fight he's in almost. He has a way he can mess it up. What like as easy as some of them should be, Hugh always can find a way to mess up a battle that you're partnered with him for.
Sounds like How in Sun and Moon. You know, How can actually like attack you.
Really?
Oh,
In a
wow.
team battle, like that happened to Garth. He got attacked and died because How attacked him instead of the enemy.
Oh, man.
What prompted that?
I don't know.
Bad communication with your team's partner.
All right. So once again, we're going to be passing preschooler Linda. All right, that's 2. We have one more time to pass her because we're going to have to go back that way again. But 2 out of 3 so far on Linda. We have to just chase the Team Plasma Grunts who ran away back to this route. And believe it or not, this battle is going to be just like the last one, where I press Flame Charge and win. Something to note, actually, I am using the touchscreen for pretty much like every action in a battle. If you try to use the face buttons, when you press the A button in the battle, it's first going to like show a reticle around the option that you want to pick, and then a second A button press will then confirm it. So it requires additional presses to use the face button, so it's actually faster, and I think all DS Pokemon games, at least 4th and 5th gen, to use the touchscreen for all battle commands. I think it's the same in 6th and 7th, right?
7 you can use either or.
Oh, I forgot to turn on repels. Well, actually, this is fine. We're back okay on repels probably, because that's fine. Messed up repels early. I'm like totally in the mode where I just keep confirming them, so we did waste a few. Only 1 encounter. That's fine. All right. Final pass by Linda. Let me buy. All right. We're done with... Oh. Ooh, was that a shaking grass spot? Oh, my God.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was.
Fantastic. So I guess to explain those, there's something introduced in this game called like the shaking spots. There's like shaking grass spots, and then like a dust cloud in caves, as well as like a whirlpool. Like there's specials, really. There's special squares in like all areas where you can encounter different Pokemon than normal. And on those squares, they just appear randomly sometimes when you're walking around, and that's what we had happen there.
I think, do you still get the encounter even if you have a repel active?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, chat.
Yeah, sorry.
It happens. We're all feeling it right now.
Like I can already just envision that. What face? What face? Just like scrolling.
Everyone in my room is sick. I've, for the most part, managed to avoid it, but...
It's impossible here.
Yeah, we got a cutscene anyway. Let me hopefully spare all our ears.
Well, during the cutscene, I'm just going to jump in real quick. We have $1,000 from John G157. John says, "Gotta catch 'em all." Just kidding. That's a different category.
Hi, Shen.
So I guess before we move here, I'll check how many repels I have. I want to have at least 2.
You should have 2.
Yeah. As long as I have 2, we're fine. I think we're going to have 2 since I ended up not using them in that last route.
Yeah, you bought 6 and used 2 extras, so you're all good now.
Yeah, we'll just double check real quick. So we do have exactly the amount I need. All right, so that works out. Unfortunate that I wasted some, but we're back on track now.
Welcome to Pokemon, where we learn basic math.
Yeah.
All right, so we are going to get the bike now. This is going to speed up our movement considerably. Something annoying about the 5th gen bike, it actually makes moving a single tile with it very difficult. The bike in 5th generation goes from like 0 to full speed instantly, whereas in 4th gen it had a bit of acceleration to it, so it makes moving a single tile actually fairly difficult. But that's only going to really matter in a few places where we're trying to navigate around trainers and stuff, and it's like a very tight line. So hopefully that's fine. I've had a fair amount of practice with the bike by this point, but when I started running, you better believe that I hit so many additional trainers more than you're supposed to hit with it.
Yeah, and it's even harder when you have to turn frame on the bike, and then you're like trying to go that one tile, and you just go 2 because you're trying to adjust for the turn frame.
All right, so I'm going around Castelia City. This is like this is the biggest city in the game. It's got a lot of corridors. I believe it's modeled after New York City. The whole region is modeled after some New York, the state as a whole, but I believe this is New York City. So there's quite a few alleyways, it's a lot of branching pathways, and we're traveling around. We're going to be entering various buildings to talk to, I believe it's pronounced Harlequins. And if we talk to all of them, then when we leave the area, I'll get a rare candy, which will be necessary later on. There are 3 of them, and we talked to one of them in that building earlier to get an item called the Experience Share, which when we catch our next Pokemon that will be replacing Tepig, he'll need that at the start. Because we're gonna be using Pignite throughout the gym in this town since it is a bug gym, and Fire as a type has an advantage against the bug type, so it allows us to clear it a little bit faster. And so now we are chasing Team Plasma into the sewers, and after that, after we encounter them, we're actually going to be attempting RNG manipulation once again. And this one we're going to have plenty more chances to do, so hopefully I get it. If we get bad luck, we can just keep attempting it. And my seed is about 50% consistent. So like I mentioned earlier, RNG seeds in this game, they are there's 5 possibilities for every second, and they don't all have the same frequency. They're not all 20%. So I found a seed where the Pokemon I'm going to need to catch is actually 50% likely. So hopefully we get it within only a few tries. I guess small note before this battle actually, my Tepig seed. So we started the game in spring, so that spring or summer actually both have the water in the sewers raised, so that we can take that pathway instead of using the stairs, and it's a little bit faster. So that's like the only point in the run where the season matters. Alright, so we're going to Flame Charge Scraggy since I'm not in Blaze, and Dewott hit the Razor Shell. If Razor Shell is not a 100% accurate move, and if Hugh misses that, Sandile will get to hit me and does hurt quite a bit. You can actually feint in this battle. I think it happened to Crafted once, and it's just up to Hugh at that point. He has to finish it by himself, which if that happens, it's just slow. I don't think Hugh really has a chance of losing.
It's happened to me as well.
It would
But at
happen
least-
to Crafted, though.
Yeah.
It's never happened to me, so until I heard about it happening to Crafted, I had no idea.
But you get a free heal after the fight.
Yep. We got Strength, which we'll be using quite a bit down the road. We don't need it for a little bit. And so now, what we're going to do after these text boxes, we're going to attempt the RNG manipulation, but it's quite a few text boxes still, so we have time for a few donations, 1 or 2.
All right, well, I'll start with this one here. $20 from Crafted. Hi, Trev. Crafted here. Good luck on the run. I also have a $500 donation from Oh No I37. Says, oh no, I donated $500. Never miss a GDQ. Best of luck on the run.
Did he have an apostrophe in his name or not?
No, he actually spelled it correctly.
Okay.
All right, so what we need to do to hit our seed is I'm going to be changing the date. We have been playing in 2010, but we're going to change it to February 7th on 2012. We're jumping ahead a little bit. And like I said, it's a very specific second on a very specific day in a very specific year. And in order to hit our intended Pokemon, we need to do that. And then I'm going to open the game on the 11th second so that it starts on the 12th second. And if we get good luck, then hopefully we will get our Drillbur first try, which is the Pokemon we are attempting to catch. So we're going to boot it up, and what we're going to look for, Drillbur only appears in dust clouds. Like, everything about this is manipulated. We had to, when I routed the seed, we have to find a way to manipulate the dust cloud's appearance and then to hit it at the right spot, or like at the right time so that the right Pokemon appears into it, since it's changing constantly. So we're going to run through this, and if you see me turn off the DS, then it means I recognize that I got bad luck and we did not get the intended seed, which could happen. First try? Oh, that's not where that's supposed to happen. I think I messed up. Oh no, we may have ruined first try.
Yeah, it can screw it up too, so hopefully it doesn't.
No, that's the wrong Drillbur. All right, we'll try again. That's unfortunate. I did just find the seeds, so something to note about the seeds is they can change in frequency, and the seed I'd been using actually decreased from like a 60% success rate to a 10% right before GDQ, so I had to find a new one before this run a couple days ago. So,
Would you want to get rid of the repel first and then do a new one?
no, it's actually fine, I think. No, that's fine. I think I actually turned a tile earlier. No, I turned a tile early. That's my fault. It's okay. So it is a 50%. Like, you don't know for sure what the success ratio of a seed is, but just through brute forcing and testing during the week, I found that this one has about a 50% success rate. So hopefully we don't have to do too many more to get it again. There it is again. All right, let's not mess up this time. I actually went way too many tiles short. So we'll go down. We'll use this repel. We'll go down some more. Turn right, up, left, down. And that should be a female drillbur level 19 if we got this. There it is.
Okay, good.
Now we just have to catch it.
Yeah, it's not over
Yeah,
yet.
this is scary too.
So this Great Ball, we're just going to throw it at it immediately because this Drillbur is a threat. It can KO us. This
Yeah.
Great Ball only has a 33% chance to catch. And there it is. So hopefully we don't see Dig. All right, Fury Swipes is fine. Dig has a good chance of KOing us if it uses it because this Drillbur is manipulated to have perfect IVs. So it is particularly powerful if it gets the chance to use Dig. So hopefully we can catch it this time. 3? Oh, no. Oh, no. All right, Mud Slap is fine. I'm going to throw a Pokeball. I should probably heal or use the X Defend. We'll do that if this doesn't catch. Ooh. Ooh,
Please.
come on. Yes! All right, actually, if we could confirm that I'm spelling this correctly, I believe the donation incentive is for the name Kamina. So can we confirm that I am spelling this correctly when I do this?
Absolutely.
Oops. This?
That is correct.
Nice. I actually had to Google when what that was when that got put up as the name for a Drillbur, and it's apparently an anime character that has various drill-based attacks. He's the special move. He has a special move that he calls Giga Drill Break, I believe. So I didn't know that before this run. That was pretty interesting to me. All right. So something nice about the Drillbur we caught, which actually I'll check its stats just to double check, but I'm fairly certain we were okay. All its IVs, except for its special attack, which we barely use, are 31. It is adamant natured. That is correct. All right, we're good. So that Drillbur is adamant natured, which again, natures increase a stat by 10% and lower another one by 10%. Adamant increases your attack stat by 10% and lowers your special attack stat by 10%. Which is definitely optimal for Drillbur. We're going to need both our defensive stats, and we're not really going to be making use of both of our attacking stats like we were with Tepig. Tepig was using both his physical attack with Tackle and Flame Charge, and his special attack with Ember. That's not really the case with Drillbur. There's one fight very early on where we're going to be using Mud Slap, which does calculate off of Drillbur's special attack, but it's not really an issue, and as long as the IV is above 4, which isn't really demanding, he'll be able to KO. All right, so now I gave the experience share to Drillbur, but we're going to keep using Pignite for this gym. And at the end of this gym, that's going to be it for Pignite, unfortunately. After that, he's got one use, and it's just Strength. And Drillbur replaces him, because Drillbur is definitely a lot more powerful. Drillbur has much better, he's got better typing, both offensively and defensively. He can cover a lot more types than Pignite and eventually Ember would be able to. Additionally, his stats are just better. He's got much better speed. He's got high attack. His defenses are fairly good as well. And like I said, his typing just makes those defenses even better because he has so many resistances as a steel type. And fifth generation was actually the last generation where steel still resisted Ghost and Dark, I believe. Sixth generation, I believe, steel lost those resistances, if I'm correct. So he has a lot more resistances than he would in later gens. So we can definitely make use of those, have a lot of advantages in most fights. And his move pool is just fantastic. He gets 2 boosting moves, which boost his stats, whereas the the Tepig line gets Flame Charge, and that's it, I think. I never actually ran the Ember route, but Tyrant is definitely well-versed in that, and he can tell you exactly how terrible going through the game with Ember is compared to Drillbur.
It's bad.
Very astute.
Like, I don't even need to explain it. It's just terrible. It's the reason we want to get a different Pokemon.
All right, Smog is not particularly useful. It's very low power. I believe has a chance to poison. We're just going to be making use of Ember and Flame Charge throughout this gym. There's going to be one more Forced Trainer. This is like the first one really to have puzzles. But if we go through it optimally, we only have to fight 3 trainers. Also, something I don't think I've pointed out up to this point is I've been walking up, like most trainers, if you walk in their path, they'll approach you and battle you. But if you talk to them, it's a lot quicker, even if you have to walk up to them, because when they first see you, they get like, there's that exclamation point above their head, and then there's like a large delay before they actually walk to you. So it saves quite a bit of time. Like, I did it earlier for one trainer just because I kind of... Normally, it's part of my RNG manipulation, but I kind of just did it muscle memory, you know. But I walked in front of her, and it definitely takes quite a bit more time for the battle to start, especially if they have to walk towards you, because there's just like a full delay even after the exclamation point above their head disappears, where they just don't do anything. It takes them a sec to even start walking to you, and then they have to walk to you at a fairly slow pace. So in most cases, I'm going to be talking to any trainers rather than letting them walk to me if I have to battle them.
And this is true in every generation up until Gen 7. Gen 7, for whatever reason, they just decided that they'll always have the exclamation point.
All right, so I don't think a safety save is merited here. I decided earlier that it wasn't. But we do need to heal Pignite before we start this fight. He has gotten a little bit low. That's going to be dangerous. So we switched Drillbur to the front. I'm going to send him out and just switch him back out. He has been getting experience with the experience share, but by putting Drillbur into battle, he's going to get a larger share of the experience. So because Berg's Pokemon are fairly high level, we want to get as much of that experience onto Drillbur as possible, and it's just barely going to work out that he's like, Drillbur is at the levels we need him to be at certain points. So this is very important. So Drillbur definitely cannot take on this. It has Razor Leaf, super effective, and we're not even a higher level than it yet. So we're just getting it in there to get some experience. Let Pignite take the hit. That was a crit, okay. I do believe it might end up healing in this fight just to be safe. So I'm a little bit high. We're going to Ember on this turn because my health is decently high. We're going to give him a Flame Charge too since my health is still pretty high. 44. We'll probably end up healing on Leavanny. That's fine. I could die to a crit. Still, like, the only Pokemon Center we've been to still in the run is the one all the way back in the beginning. So I've actually died in this fight before. I think my very first run I died in this fight. It sends you back to the first town still. So we'd have to spend several minutes coming back. All right. So I'm going to switch Kamina here into... I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I hope I am. But just to get more experience on both these Pokemon, but we need Pignite back in. This could be dangerous. I think I could die to like a max roll crit, but that's fairly unlikely. And it went for Razor Leaf. It does much more damage with Cut instead, but we're just going to heal up to save... Oh, there's the crit. Okay, that... I'm glad I healed. We could have just died right there. We would have probably. Very likely. All right, now we're safe even from a crit, though, so we'll go for Flame Charge. Even if it doesn't KO, which it did. I would have been faster at that stage anyway. We made it through, so. Good thing for the healed, or else it is very possible I could have died. And right here, we're going to learn our first move on Drillbur, teach it over Fury Swipes. Hone Claws is a boosting move. It doesn't do damage, but it increases our attack and our accuracy by 1 stage. And that's going to be very useful for powering up Drillbur in fights where he just doesn't quite have that yet. And also, we're going to be using a move, Rock Slide, that doesn't have perfect accuracy, but after 1 Hone Claws, which raises your accuracy, it cannot miss anymore. So that's going to be good for later in the run. Makes it a little bit more consistent if we're not missing Rock Slides.
Except on one Pokemon, because its ability negates the accuracy boost.
Yep. And then eventually we're actually going to be replacing Hone Claws and we'll lose the ability to increase our accuracy. But for this stage of the run, it's very nice that we can generally rely on Rock Slide when we have the chance to boost. All right, so now that that gym is done, there is one more Harlequin we need to talk to in order to get that rare candy I mentioned earlier. So we're going to head here. He's upstairs. While I'm getting this, we actually do have time for a few donations.
All right. Got the Washer 19255, $50. Says, greetings from the back couch. Pokemon is a great series and speed game with exciting moments, and I always make sure to donate during the Pokemon run. Then I've got $100 from Me Gots This. Me Gots This from PSR here. Hi, TrevPerson. Hi, Kizaron. Hi, Tyrant14. Hi, Shenanigans. Hi, Ryu Sarabi. As a runner of 2 games, 1 controller, this goes to Zoward's 2 games, 1 controller Punch-Out run.
All right, so we're going to be introduced to a fairly important character here. We don't know much about him as of yet, but his name's Colress, and in general, he's going to spend the majority of the game trying to, I believe in his own words, bring out the power of Pokemon, like right there. So he becomes curious with us and wants to battle us just because he finds interest in us, he senses power in us. But we don't know much about him until later on, but we will encounter him a few times. He is going to be an important character later. And also, he's going to clear a roadblock for us that would have otherwise been there if we hadn't beaten the third gym. There's going to be a series of Dwebble, I believe, in the road that he's going to use a machine to move for us. Otherwise, we would not be able to move on. And then now that we've talked to all the Harlequins, this guy will give us the rare candy, and this will be very useful later. It's actually very convenient how the route works out, that we get the level and the move we need just in time for an important battle. So you'll see that coming up. All right, so Colress will use his machine to move, actually their Crustle out of the way, the evolution of Dwebble. And from this point on, this is Drilbur's first solo battle. So from this point on, I'm afraid Pignite is relegated to just the sidelines. We will be using him for strength later on. Although on an optimal run that was able to do the first manipulation early on that I had to use the backup cart for, we wouldn't even use Pignite. Pignite would be benched entirely because we have Psyduck for strength. And Psyduck is better for strength generally because it also gets Surf. But we weren't able to do that. And then one interesting aspect of this particular fight is there's a sandstorm on. And like I said earlier, everything about this Drillbur is manipulated. Its ability is also manipulated. This Drillbur will always have Sand Force. Sand Force is an ability that increases the power of, I believe, ground, rock, and steel moves. Or is it just all moves in Sandstorm? Not quite sure. But either way, it boosts Mud Slap's power there to be able to consistently two-hit the Magnemite. We could use Dig on the Magnemite, however, the Magnemite has Sturdy, which is an ability that prevents it from fainting in just one move. So being able to use Mud Slap twice in a row rather than having to use Dig, which is a 2-turn move, is better. And there's never a Sandstorm again, so we manipulate Sand Force just for that battle, and that's it. Drilbur's ability will never be relevant again. Like, we're going to be coming up, like, all the aspects of this Drillbur is manipulated. It is female for a reason as well. Obviously, Adamant is to increase its power. Even level 19 is convenient because it's the highest level of Drillbur that you, like, we got it at level 19. And that is the highest level of Drillbur that can be encountered in that area. And it also learns Dig at that level so that we can exit the cave quickly. Oops. So this is another side thing we can do in the game. It's called Join Avenue. If you've played 7th generation of Pokemon, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, it actually is very similar to the Festival Plaza, I believe. There's like even lottery shops that have like a very similar list of rewards, but we don't want anything to do with that, so I'm just quickly entering quickest text I can and getting out of here. We're going to head straight over to a building that used to be the gym, I believe, in Black and White, the original, but has since become, like, it is no longer the gym, it's just a normal roller coaster park. And I don't think we've mentioned it yet, but this is or I did mention it briefly, but to elaborate on it, this game is not a sequel. Pokemon games generally release 2 versions of basically what is the same game with different Pokemon and usually like slightly different legendary Pokemon that like the storyline focuses on, and then like later on, like maybe 1 or 2 years later, they'll release a 3rd version. It's also very similar, but it has like some minor upgrades, maybe more Pokemon overall. But that's not what they did with Black and White. It does not have the same storyline, and it's actually a true sequel. It takes place 2 years after the original Black and White. So instead of having a mostly similar plotline, it's actually Team Plasma's resurgence trying to come back after the defeat 2 years prior. Alright, so we are going to have 2 battles in this area, and they are both going to be using electric Pokemon because the gym that we're going to be going to afterwards is actually an electric gym. But you'd imagine that Drillbur is going to be fairly well equipped to deal with electric Pokemon. And for the most part, Drillbur is, but the gym leader is going to pose a problem for a reason you'll see when we get there. And there is a rather annoying ability that a lot of the Pokemon in the gym have called Static. Static is an ability that actually this Flaffy I'm about to fight has as well. It has a 30% chance to paralyze you if you hit them with a contact move, which my best move right now is Dig. There's no way I'm going to be using anything else. So I can get paralyzed hitting any of these Pokemon with Dig, and I decided that I'm going to be donating $5 to the charity for every time I get staticked. And if I don't get staticked at all, then I'm just going to donate a flat 50, which is higher than even if I got staticked by everything. So hopefully we get the fastest scenario and the most money for the charity, but it's very unlikely, unfortunately. But no static there. Yeah, the really annoying thing about static is if I do get it, I do have to like drop everything and get rid of it immediately. Static is a big problem when you're using a two-turn move like Dig, because it can actually interrupt Dig on either turn that it takes for Dig to happen. And if that happens, the move is canceled completely, and it uses a power point, or PP. And I need every Dig I have, so I can't risk wasting one if I get paralyzed.
It also slows you down, so you'll be slower than things if you're paralyzed, which is also annoying.
Yep, through the 6th generation of Pokemon, it slows you down to 1/4 of your normal speed, and I believe they made it a little bit weaker, and it's only half in 7th generation.
Yeah, I think that's right.
All right, so the gym is a little bit to the right, but before we do that, we're going to go heal Drillbur in the PC, and I believe we would get the Pidove and the Psyduck in here as well if we had them. We're just going to heal for now. We would have deposited them earlier because I don't know if you noticed when we were going through the early game routes, but... Ooh, this is wrong. What am I... Oops.
Don't you want to have Pignite? Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I'm used to the movement when I have Psyduck and Pidove. I got confused for a second. All right, so we're going to talk to this guy. He's going to give us red shards. These are going to be useful down the road. Move tutors in this game will give you... sorry, I need to do this. Oops. Gonna buy those hyper potions, those revives, and no paralyzed heals yet. Oh, and an escape rope? No, that's later. I'm getting confused between this trip and the later one. But we need those hyper potions and revive just in case something happens in this gym. There is a couple things that can happen, but hopefully we'll be fine. Or I was supposed to buy paralyzed heals. Okay, that is an issue. I'm doubting myself. All right, this gym easily has my favorite music in the entire game. I mean, turn up the bass, dude. But it is an electric gym. For the most part, Drillbur will be fine. I might have to leave and buy those paralyzed heals. I don't...
Just don't get static twice or more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was supposed to buy 4 of them, so if we get static, that's going to be an issue. I think I'll just leave after this. That's a small mistake. We can go buy them. I think it's very unlikely we don't get static, but like I said, if we don't, that'd be really good, and they'll be donating more, so... Let's just all pray I'd never get staticked.
I think the average is twice per run, so... I mean, if he's on
Not
rate,
my average.
Yeah.
Not my average either.
Yeah, static is 33%, 90% of the time.
Well done.
And there it is.
All right, we're probably going to go back for the paralyzed
Yeah.
heals.
You should know, Shen, averages mean nothing in Pokemon.
Yeah, it's very true.
All right, so we do need to get rid of that really quick. Oh, what a... All right, so this Elekid, it actually swapped out on turn 1, and it's because it has absolutely no moves to hit me with. It's only attacking moves or electric moves, and as a ground-type Pokemon, Drillbur is completely immune to them. All right. Unfortunate that I made that mistake. We are going to have to leave and go buy Paralyzed Heals. I think it's very unlikely we end up making it through without them. And I want multiple for the gym leader anyway, because she has 2 Pokemon with Static, and you could get paralyzed by both. In fact, one of them you can get paralyzed by multiple times because you have to hit it multiple times. So this silly mistake, but it's easy enough to fix. So we'll buy 4 paralyzed heals. All right, and that makes up for that earlier. We'll have plenty to make it through the gym right now. We buy normally, I used 1, so we'd have, if I hadn't used that one already, we'd have a total of 6, and that's just because you can get paralyzed up to 6 times, generally, if you get like the absolute worst luck. So even in the worst case scenario, you'd be fine. All right, so we fixed it. And so now that I did that and took time to go get those paralyzed heals, we're never going to get paralyzed again. That's generally how it goes. Can make me feel silly for going and doing it, but in the worst case, we will be prepared.
You can just say it's RNG manipulation if you don't get paralyzed anymore.
Exactly, exactly. So what is that, 1 static so far? So that
Yeah,
is-
1 so far.
You guys are matching me, right?
I'll match you.
I'll match.
Yeah, I'll go. Why not?
All right.
Silence from the other one over here.
Ooh. Oh my
There's
god.
$10.
Oh, man.
More money for charity.
Yeah, anyone on the back couch want to match too? All right. Show of hands. All right.
Get him on camera, please. Someone.
All right, so Blitzel does not have static, so that's nice. I believe the next trainer also has a Blitzel. So we're going to have a few more opportunities to get paralyzed. We're at $10 so far. 4 paralyzed heals left. I think I actually could end up using all these paralyzed heals. Because, yeah, this trainer has, I believe, an Elekid, and then, in theory, against the gym leader, if I got the absolute worst luck, I could be paralyzed 3 separate times, which would really suck. It would make the battle really slow. I'm going to end up having to heal a bunch because I'm going to keep getting hit while I'm getting rid of the paralysis, and it's going to be really unfortunate. So we need to keep track of my health here, but it's probably going to... I mean, we can play it safe and heal before the fight, but it's also fine to heal in the fight, generally. All right, another opportunity for static. This Elekid's just like the other one in that it doesn't have anything to hit us with, but it's still annoying because it has static. Oh my god.
Charity.
15.
I think there's 2 chances left now.
3 more.
Or 3 more, yeah.
All right, so we are going to learn Slash right here, and that's very useful just because for the very first Pokemon that the gym leader has actually is an electric and flying type. So even though electric would normally have the weakness to ground type moves, the flying type actually gives it immunity. Flying types are completely immune to ground type moves in general. Sorry, I love this gym.
Twitch chat is cool cats right now, I hope.
All right, so really quick before we do this, I am going to heal just to be safe. We don't really have to, but we also got to get rid of the paralysis anyway, so that pause is fine. I guess I'll use the protein while I'm here as well. Protein is a vitamin that increases attack EVs by 10. And what EVs are, they're effort values, which are something gained whenever you KO Pokemon normally, but vitamins are another way to gain them. Every time you get 4 EVs for a particular stat, its value increases by 1. So giving us 10 would increase the attack by 2 overall. All right, so here's the electric and flying type Emolga. We have to Hone Claws up once, and then we're going to be slashing it. Slashing is a contact move, and Emolga does have static, and it takes 2 hits. So we didn't get paralyzed on the first one. That is a crit. All right, that's fine. We'll just heal on Flaffy. Did not get paralyzed by Emolga there. So we'll heal here because Flaffy is a range. Okay, so Flaffy used Takedown. That's going to do a little bit of recoil damage to it, so that means this dig is guaranteed to KO it. We could get paralyzed. That would be really bad. We didn't. All right.
So $15.
I'm still doing 50. I'll do 50. If anyone else wants to join me.
Yeah, this fight with on the Ember route is very terrible because you just get Volt switched over and over. But you can't get that with Drillbur since the ground typing.
Yeah, Volt Switch is a move. When it hits you, it does damage, and then that Pokemon also switches out at the same time. So it's very annoying. I don't know, since I never ran that route, I'm not quite sure whether her patterns of like what she'd switch into was consistent, or even if she used Volt Switch consistently at the same time. But if she doesn't, I assume that would cause quite a lot of problems.
It was just annoying and slow.
Yeah, constantly switching Pokemon.
Yeah, it's pretty nice if you pick up Drillbur and then it's immediately an electric type gem. Can really utilize it right away.
Volt Switch, there we go. Alright, so we do have half the badges now. We are not quite halfway through the run, though. The evil team takes up a good part of the second half. But we're coming up to some of Drillbur's hardest fights now. Drillbur is approaching that stage where he's going to evolve. He evolves at level 31. However, the next upcoming fights, one in particular, is really bad. But really quick, we're going to actually use the rare candy. The reason we're using the rare candy now, actually, is that the most efficient way to use a rare candy is to use it when you have no experience, really, towards your next level to get like the maximum use out of it, because no matter how much experience you have, rare candy just brings you to the minimum amount of experience to level up. So if you use it when you have basically no experience, you're getting the maximum amount of value out of it. So we're going to use it now to get to level 29, learn Rock Slide, which will be useful in the aforementioned difficult battles coming up. We are going to have another couple battles with Team Plasma Grunts, and the first one is really easy, and the second one is absolutely awful, and I hate it. It can either go really bad and look fine, and you'll wonder, like, well, what is he talking about? That fight's easy. or we could get put to sleep, confused, super fanged, like...
Yeah.
It depends on, like, if he goes for confused, right? If he hits hypnosis, like, or if he just goes for super fang instead of trying to do those things to me.
Hey, Trev, if I can jump in real quick, we have an anonymous $1,000 donation. Says long time watching, and now I can finally afford to donate. Had to donate during my favorite Pokemon Gen. My dad went through cancer treatments twice, and it's wonderful to see the gaming community come together for such a great cause. Putting this donation towards the Punch-Out and Super Punch-Out run, I have enough trouble with both games on their own, so seeing them done at the same time is going to be absolutely nuts. Just a quick update, we are getting closer to that Punch-Out run, and we are over the $900,000 mark. So I'll tell you what, right now, if we can hit both of those, I will double the static payoff there myself. I'm gonna match it anyway, but I will double it if we can get the Punch-Out met and hit $1 million before the end of this run.
All right, so unfortunately we are having quite a difficult battle here. I got hit by hypnosis, and I'm confused, and I hit myself once. Thankfully, we're through it. I think I have a highlight on my channel where I think I get hypnosis, and then I'm confused, and I hit myself 6 times in a row, and eventually end up dying in that fight.
Yeah.
It's absolutely awful if you get terrible luck. Thankfully, even though it started looking bad, we did eventually just get through confusion. Did have to use a couple extra healing items, which could be a problem, but we have a couple extra. So it depends what happens throughout the rest of the run, how many we have to use. But as long as it's okay, we should have enough. We bought 11 hyper potions, and normally that's actually enough to get through the whole run without any more. But we could end up needing more since I wasted a few there. Not too many. All right, so that fight is one of the terrible fights. We do have 2 more fights that are fairly bad, and the next one is definitely the worst one, though. I think in practice I died to it twice. And in runs, my PB has a death to this fight. Like, there's just so many ways it can go wrong, and you can't really play it safe. There's, like, no safe way to play it, because if you try to slow it down and set up, you just get overwhelmed. So we have to kind of hope for the optimal scenario. We'll definitely be safety saving, because it could go absolutely awful. So many ways it can go wrong. But first, it is a triple battle, and because I don't have Psyduck and Pidove, in order to even do the triple battle, we need a 3rd Pokemon. So we're going to catch this Pokemon right here, the Minxino, who will be our 3rd Pokemon in the battle. Normally, we would not need this. I just walk away and say, see ya, but since we did not get the correct seed early on for Tepig, do need to grab him real quick, so Minxino makes an appearance here. I am going to weaken him before I catch him, actually, not only because it makes it easier, but also because with him weakened, sometimes he won't... We need Minxino to die immediately in the triple battle, or else he'll steal some of the experience. So him being weakened actually guarantees he dies, because in one run I didn't weaken him that I needed to grab him, and he does survive, depending on the stats he rolls, unless he's already low. So this just guarantees that he dies turn 1. Sorry, Minxino, but your job is to die. And then this is the battle. So we are definitely saving before this guy. This guy is the Heartbreaker Charles. In both Black and White and this game, he teaches you how to triple battle. And I think in both runs, he poses quite a bit of a challenge. Drillbur isn't evolved yet. It's a triple battle, so there's 3 Pokemon on the opposing side that could really be a problem. And if we're going to be needing to use Rock Slide, like one way it can go wrong is Rock Slide missing. We can get Psybeam confused. We can get Crit. Like so many different things can happen, and if any of them happen, it almost always is a loss. So we're just, if everything goes correctly, everything on my side except Drillbur is alive, or is dead. Drillbur's the only thing on my side. The Arcan is dead, and Sigilyph is low. So we're going to Rock Slide, and then Pignite and Minccino's turns are fairly useless, so we're actually going to use Pignite's turn to give an X attack to Drillbur, and Minccino can do pretty much anything. Alright, so Minccino will faint, Pignite should faint to a Psybeam, and then Kamina might take a little bit of damage here. No, we get the Rock Slide first, and we do hit them both. That is a perfect first turn, so we are on track with what we want. In fact, Sigilyph using Psybeam is really good, because it can also use Air Cutter, and that hits multiple Pokemon, so Drillbur would have taken even more damage. So far this is really good. So now, like one aspect of triple battles is Pokemon on opposite sides, so Drillbur's all the way on the left, and Tortuga is all the way on the right. They can't hit each other, so when they're the only ones left in the battle, they just get auto-centered into a one-on-one. And we do take out the Tortuga, so that is as good of a Charles fight as we could have had. That is... I can't tell you how many times that we've died to that fight. Like, there's so many things that can go wrong. It's truly an awful fight.
And another thing with that fight that's really annoying, when you get auto-centered, it also changes your position in the party. So if you need to heal, you actually have to heal the second slot instead of the first because it switches.
Yeah, I've tried to heal the first slot before, and if you do that, that wastes your turn, and then you just die. That's more on you than just luck, but...
Yeah, that's happened to me.
All right, so we do need Ducklet now, which is unfortunate. So we're going to be... as we cross the bridge here, we're going to be looking for shadows to appear, and they have a chance of being a Ducklet. That's the only thing they can be, and Ducklet's going to be useful because since we don't have Psyduck, since we don't have Pidove, we need a different Pokemon to learn these HMs to progress through the game. And Pidove can learn both Surf and Fly, which makes it very useful. Which are the only other 2 we need other than Strength, which Pignite will be used for. So hopefully we just catch this right away because it does have a water move.
And it has Aqua Ring up, so it's going to heal.
Yep. I don't want to hit it again. I was already scared to hit it with Slash because Slash has a higher critical hit ratio, and if it does get crit, it just faints generally. So hopefully this gets it, and then we're set on Pokemon for the remainder of the run. All right, that was relatively painless. I've gone back and forth on this bridge for up to 2 minutes before without even encountering a Ducklet. So, luck later in this run has been pretty good, even though we didn't get the Tepig Seed. And the Tepig Seed wasn't incredibly likely from the get-go. There's only so much you can do with that one. My Tepig Seed is like 30–40%, so it wasn't really in our favor to begin with. All right, so we're now in Driftveil City. We're going to be encountering the base of old members of Team Plasma. The character on the bottom in the more white suit is a member of, like an ex-member of Team Plasma. That is the outfit they wore in the previous game. And since that game, they've split off and decided to repent for their actions. So they were arguing because the new Team Plasma member wanted the older one to rejoin. Oh, I didn't heal. Okay, we're going to have to exit this. I'm getting caught in my commentary. So we do need to heal. Rude is the final fight before Drillbur evolves, but he is also decently difficult. Certainly not as bad as Charles, but we're definitely going to heal up before fighting him. And while I am here, we will also revive Pignite. We don't need Minccino, though. That should be it. So now we'll take him on. So the reason this fight is a little bit tricky is because he's going to lead with a Herdier, and then Herdier has an ability called Intimidate, which will lower my attack by 1 stage, which I believe puts it at 2/3 its normal value, if I'm correct. So that makes taking down Herdier a little bit longer, not to mention the fact that it will also set up on me with Workup and do quite a bit of damage, but I could theoretically get a Rock Slide flinch and make this a lot easier, but I didn't get it, but that's okay. So we'll just slash it now and take it out. So I'm a little bit low right now. Healthy enough to survive this attack. Notably, even though our attack got lowered, it actually doesn't matter against Swoobat Ooh, that was a range. It could have KO'd, but we didn't quite get it. Whenever something's arranged, attacks can do various amounts of damage within a set range of damages, and Swoobat could have fainted on that first rock slide, but it did not, unfortunately, just luck-based.
Yeah, there's 16 possible damage outcomes, and it's just determined by a formula and just rounded in a funky way sometimes. So sometimes you'll see something as odd as you could do 14 to 15 damage, but you have a 1 in 16 chance to do 12 and a 1 in 16 chance to do 16.
Yeah, I believe Swoobat there is probably 10 out of 16 right there, if my notes are to be believed.
That sounds about right.
Numbers.
All right, we got Excadrill, the true carry of this run, way better than Ember could ever dream of being. Excadrill, like I mentioned before, has fantastic typing, a great move pool, gets boosting moves. Like, everything is in Excadrill's favor. In fact, Excadrill was banned from competitive play because back in 5th generation, it's not banned anymore just due to the eventual power creep. But back when it came out, Excadrill was so good, it was just banned. It has so much going for it. It's easily one of the best Pokemon introduced in this generation, which is why we're making use of it. Pignite sucks. Alright, so we were offered a Zorua there. I actually really like Zorua. It's one of my favorite Pokemon from this generation. It hurts me to say no, but slow, we don't need it. Unfortunate.
Washer's on the back couch, heartbroken right now.
All right, so you may remember those red shards we got earlier. They are useful for this move tutor. We're going to give Excadrill one of its best moves in this run, Iron Head. It is a very powerful move. It has a 30% chance to flinch. When a Pokemon is flinched, they just don't do anything that turn. So whenever Excadrill attacks anything with Iron Head, its target just has a 30% chance to do nothing, which is very useful in multiple scenarios, and you'll actually see that potentially in this gym if we get lucky. Whoops. Oh
And it can make for some very fast fights too, if you get the flinch.
Yep, Rock Slide also has that chance to flinch, and it comes up occasionally. Not as often as Iron Head, though, because Iron Head, I don't think I've explained same type attack bonus. So there is something called STAB, which is an acronym, STAB. Same type attack bonus. Whenever you use a move that has the same typing as our Pokemon, so Excadrill is Ground and Steel, so it gets that bonus on both those types. Its damage, its power is multiplied by 1.5. So Iron Head is made significantly more powerful as a result of that, and it's going to be one of our main moves we use throughout this run. Dig has been getting the same type attack bonus, but Dig is also a 2-turn move, so we're going to try to lean towards Iron Head just to save turns whenever possible.
I believe after Stab, it's 120 power, right? It's really strong.
Yeah, it's very powerful. We're going to get an even more powerful move later, Earthquake, but not quite yet. So Iron Head is definitely more useful for now. Look at this Drillbur. He wishes he was good as our Excadrill. But I'm sorry, we're gonna have to show him. So, having just evolved into Excadrill, our Drillbur is actually extremely powerful for this stage of the game. You notice we're above the level of our opponents. Many of our opponents aren't even fully evolved, so their stats are much lower. This Sandile has Intimidate. It's going to lower our attack. It doesn't matter. It's dead. Can't even stand up to Excadrill. So Excadrill is going to be fairly powerful for quite a while, but it's eventually going to catch up with us because we're going to be skipping so many trainers coming up. I went the wrong way. That's fine. It's this one. Yeah, the gimmick with this gym is that every room is in darkness, and until you actually go to the platform, it doesn't actually light up. But you would think I know the pathway through, but apparently I forgot briefly. It ended up being okay because we didn't run into a trainer. I just didn't count. It's 3 up. I thought I had. All right, this is Clay. You might want to explain how this. Well, I'll explain how this fight works with Excadrill first, and then afterwards we can do how Ember handled this because Ember had a much worse time with this fight. But we're going to get Intimidated here. We do want to get rid of that pretty much immediately. So we're going to switch out, which will get rid of the attack drop on Sacrifice Pignite, so that we can switch Excadrill back in and get our attack back up. So this will allow it to KO Krokorok here in one hit without the attack drop. That would not be possible. And then upcoming is Sand Slash. Sand Slash is fairly high defense stat. We can't KO it in one attack. But if we get the Iron Head flinch, it won't be a problem because we can just 2-hit it really quick. So we're really looking for that flinch here. Otherwise, we have to do... Ooh, we got it, but that's a really low roll. It might not faint here.
Nice.
Okay, we got it. That's really good. That is the best thing that could have happened there. So if we didn't get that flinch, then what would have ended up happening is I would have needed to switch out Excadrill because it would get hit by Bulldoze, which lowers its speed. And then we wouldn't be able to outspeed the opposing Excadrill here and KO it in one hit. I believe we actually outspeed that Excadrill just barely by like 1 or 2 points, if I remember correctly. Just because our stats are better, even though we were a lower level.
Yeah, with Ember, you'd want to get into the fight at like a certain HP range. That way you get Blaze at a specific point in the fight. And I think you had Heat Crush at one for this fight, and you'd use that. And you'd have to switch out. You'd have to hope for either 2 specific moves to happen. And you just have to like play with those moves, and it's a mess.
It sounds awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at this point, you wouldn't even have many X items, right? Because in the first Black and White, there's a town, I believe, with the second gym, where you are able to purchase X items very early. But you don't get those until Route 9 in this game, right? Because you don't go to that town.
Yeah.
So you're very limited on X items to help Ember along at this stage.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you had to use the X defend for that fight with Ember as well.
Would make sense. Ember as a fire type would have a weakness to everything there. Doesn't help that Ember is already really slow, probably had a problem with that as well.
I'm pretty sure you actually might have been Pig Knight for that fight still. I don't know.
Oh my
I don't
God, that
remember.
sounds
I don't
awful.
remember though.
I mean, we're only level 31 right now, so unless there was some extra fights, or I don't actually know how their experience curves compare, so it's very possible.
I just forget about Ember. It's so bad.
We don't want to remember. Ever since Excadrill route became a thing, it's just, this game's so much more consistent.
What's Ember?
Ember is the final evolution of Pig Knight.
Never heard of it.
True. All right, so the next segment of the run is the Pokemon World Tournament. It's a little side thing. It's actually, I personally enjoyed it in my casual playthrough, but in the speedrun, it's kind of tedious. We're going to be fighting in like a knockout, single elimination tournament style against with 7 other trainers, and we just need to win it to progress. It is required to initiate like the next Plasma sequence, Team Plasma. So we do need to do it, but it's really easy. There's very little variance. There is some, which we'll explain, but for the most part, everyone that we're going to be fighting has their levels locked at 25, and our Excadrill is level 33. So with an 8-level advantage, there's very little that can happen to actually make us lose. So it's fairly simple. But the things that is interesting about the Pokemon World Tournament is if an enemy Pokemon can have multiple abilities, the ability they have is actually random, and it does end up mattering. There's going to be some relevant abilities that we don't want to see. But Hugh here, not so much. The only thing with Hugh is we're going to have a range to deal with on Dewott, and if we don't get it, it doesn't matter too much, but I have had like the rare thing happen where he'll use Water Pulse and get the 10% confusion on me, I believe. So, I mean, that's like the worst thing that could happen in this fight. Otherwise, Hugh is basically free. So as long as Dig Keizo's here, like, that's it. Yep. So while I deal with B over here, we do have time for a donation.
All right, I've got $500 from Billionth Swine. It says, loving the Pokemon run, but we need this Punch-Out run. Come on, guys. Real quick, I've also got $350 from Mr. Bojangles. Congratulations on the static paralysis. I did say I wanted to double the total, but I'm also bad at math.
How much was it we had? 15 per with the 4 of us, right? So that would be 60?
Yeah.
He said he's doing 50.
Yeah, I'm going to do 50
Oh
regardless.
man, so that's actually going to be 95?
And then we got some matchers on the back couch too, so...
We have you on
how about
camera.
1,000? That's pretty close. All right, so next is Charon, and unlike our first encounter with him, he's going to be significantly easier. The only thing going on with this fight is that, just like I mentioned, his first Pokemon is a Stoutland, which can have one of 2 abilities, Intimidate or Sand Rush, and we really want Sand Rush, because Sand Rush doesn't do anything in this fight. It doubles his speed if there's a Sandstorm, which there isn't. It's useless. If he has Intimidate, that's going to lower my attack, and I need to waste a turn setting it back up with Hone Claws. So hopefully we do not see Intimidate pop up here. It did not, so I can just Iron Head him, which is unlikely to KO. Yeah, that's a 1 in 16 chance to KO. I would have popped off if that KO'd. But without the attack drop, we don't need to waste time using Hone Claws. We can just sweep right through him. We're much more powerful now. Charon doesn't stand a chance. And that brings us to the final battle. So, I mean, I guess something notable about this is because it's considered like a battle facility, almost like the battle tower in previous games, we don't get any experience. But it's, I mean, it only affects the routing, right? You don't get any experience, so just have to kind of discount all of these KOs. And we wouldn't get much experience anyway because they're all level 25, and Gen 5 has an interesting experience curve that only Generation 5 and 7 use, where the amount of experience you get in a battle is determined by a comparison to like your Pokemon's level versus theirs. Like, it's not just a set amount. If you're a higher level versus a lower level, you'll get less experience than that Pokemon would normally give, and vice versa. If you're lower, you'll get more. They did not use that curve for Generation 6, but they brought it back for Generation 7, Sun Moon, which is interesting. All right, so this is Colress again. Still an important character. Still don't quite know what's going on with him. Still just doing his research. Another random ability that's relevant, this Magneton will either have Sturdy, which again prevents him from dying in one hit, or Magnet Pull, which keeps keeps Excadrill stuck in battle, but that doesn't matter. We want him in battle. So we really want him to die here and not have Sturdy, but no, that's Sturdy. So we're gonna Mirror Shot, crit, and lowered my accuracy, so I can start missing now. So this is what we really didn't want to see. Like, there's not much threat of dying here, but I could just start missing a lot because of that accuracy drop. I've had it happen before, but there's 2. And missing Dig would be annoying just because it's a 2-turn move. So as long as we don't miss it, it's fine other than the Sturdy. There it is. All right, let's try that again. Come on, Excadrill. You got this. There we go. All right, that's it for the Pokemon World Tournament. Very convenient that all those random pairings ended up being very important story characters I never would have imagined. And because it is a battle facility like the Battle Tower, if you've played a Pokemon game, a lot of battle facilities like the Battle Tower, the Battle Frontier will give you something called BP, which is like a separate currency you get for participating in that facility. We're going to get 1. And believe it or not, that is very useful in this route. We're going to use it to buy a Carbos, which increases our speed EVs by 10. Which, as I mentioned before, vitamins will increase your EVs for a particular stat by that amount, and those EVs, for every 4 you have, will increase that stat by 1. And believe it or not, thanks to this Carbos, there are several Pokemon in this run that we will only outspeed by 1 point. So it is, in fact, extremely useful. But for now, we won't be using it. We don't need it quite yet. Like, we want to avoid additional pauses whenever possible, so we'll use it later when we actually need it. And we'll actually have 2 Carbos, so we'll use them at once, which will just barely push us over that threshold. All right, so we're about to start up another Plasma segment with the Plasma. We're going to be introduced to the Plasma Frigate, which we actually saw briefly earlier in a cutscene when Hugh looked at it and didn't really give it a second thought. But now we're actually going to board it and fight several Plasma Grunts. Actually, while I'm going through the earlier ones are pretty simple, pretty standard, so we do have time for a couple donations.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and get one out of the way before I get yelled at. We've got a $10 donation. It says, "Hey Trev, Mizzlewife here. Just wanted to wish you good luck on the run and shout out to the Pokemon speedrunning community. Donation goes to that handsome voice guy reading off donations. Love him." Love you too, honey. Keeps me from getting yelled at. And then got a quick one here. If I can have to find it again. There we go. $20 from Newman 2393. I've been enlightened from this Pokemon run, and all my future characters will be named Oh No I. Let's get to that $1 million. Good luck to all the runners, and amazing job by all the ones that have already completed their runs.
So we got one more single battle here, and then actually we're going to be thrown into a couple double battles. And I really like routing double battles in this game. Actually, there's a lot more going on, and it's a lot more time consuming to like figure out like the best way to go about a double battle. But I think it's a lot more interesting. Unfortunately, one of them is with Hugh, and as we already established, he's useless. We don't like being his partner, but unfortunately, he is our most frequent partner in double battles. And there's not a single. Well, there's one where usually he performs okay. All right, but first we have Charon, and Charon's going to spoil us because he's the best doubles partner anyone could ever ask for. He's going to lead with the Stoutland that we fought before. It's going to have Intimidate, which isn't super important because they don't do much damage anyway, but reducing damage is good, and he's always generally going to go for attacks that will KO the enemy, so it almost always ends up being like a 2-turn fight, assuming everything goes well. As long as I do not miss my Rock Slide here. Very good. Actually, critical hit the Grimer too. I don't think that matters. Or no, it does. Player start. Alright. So we're going to deal with Krokorok, and I believe Charon will go for Strength on Liepard and take it out for me, and it'll be a perfect 2-turn fight. As long as he does that. So I believe in Charon. He's always been a good doubles partner. There he is. He should get that KO. And now Hugh.
Bees was never a great doubles partner.
No, not really. So the thing with this fight is Hugh is going to lead with his Dewott that we saw earlier in the Pokemon World Tournament. It's going to, I believe, go for Water Pulse on the Coughing. It has a 1 out of 16 chance to KO that Coughing. And if he does that, we can have a perfect 2-turn fight, but otherwise, not so much. So basically, you never get the perfect fight here because Hugh is just weak as heck. Do not appreciate him as our doubles partner. So here he goes. No, not even. Oh, but he got the confusion. Wait, is that gonna? Okay, it KO'd. Okay, that's fine. 2-turn. Wow.
Useful.
Hugh did it, dude.
He heard you talking smack at AGDQ.
The only time you'll ever hear him get complimented is right now.
I mean, there's plenty more opportunities for him to be useless, but we'll give him credit on that one. I don't think I've gotten many 2-turn fights there. And that was not the fastest 2-turn fight because we had the Confuge animation, but I will absolutely take it. Because that is almost always a 3-turn fight.
See, even the game is shocked.
What should we do?
So somehow the three of us managed to single-handedly take down and make completely worthless all these grunts here. They all just don't know what to do about the children on their boat.
There's 12 of them. How do they not?
And then what's going to happen is what appears to be the leader, Zinzalin, who is actually one of the leaders of Team Plasma from the previous game. He's one of the 7 sages, I believe. Will come out and call the Shadow Triad to take us off the boat, which apparently the Shadow Triad are some sort of, like, they're described as like a superhuman who have like the ability to paralyze people, and then they just take us off the boat. And then they're going to make the mistake, despite having this ability, to just battle us later and be like, oh, we lost, we can't do anything to you. Very interesting characters.
I think that's just kind of how Pokemon works. Once you beat someone.
All right, so we do have one more trip to the shop. We're going to get some full heals and escape rope for later, and then spend the rest of our money on max repels that will get us through the rest of the game. Now is the point where I would start just mashing A for max repels like I was doing earlier. I was practicing late game yesterday, so my bad on that one. Imagine the first tile encounter right there. All right, so this route is the first one with like really a lot of spinners on it. We haven't encountered too many spinners, but hopefully those are the first 2. So there's actually 4 spinners on our way to the next gym. Hopefully we don't get hit by any of them. We are still managing our PP, the power points. As long as I don't, like, getting hit by 1 or even 2 isn't really an issue, and I'm already past 2 of them. So we're probably going to be fine. But we do have a limited number of Iron Heads to use, and we do want to still, if we do hit a spinner, we do want to take them out as fast as possible. So, not going to try to save the Iron Heads or anything, unless I absolutely have to. So this is the one required trainer, though. This should be the only one we fight before the next gym, as everything goes perfectly. I believe he's going to waste time using an X item. Pretty sure most trainers in the scientist class, like even back to older games, always are the ones who like use X items to try and introduce you to their existence, I guess was the purpose. But outside of speedruns, a lot of people don't even use X items despite them being incredibly useful, I find. Alright, so we're going to have a brief encounter with Cobalion here. I think that's how that's pronounced. But he's one of the... In a lot of Pokemon generations, there is a legendary trio of Pokemon who all kind of have like the same theme going on. I believe their theme is like justice, like the... They appear before the main character as like a validation that, like, to help you basically because your motives are just. But Cobalion just appears before us and then runs away. But two of them later on we're also going to encounter and they will not. So this cave has quite a few trainers. If I do everything perfectly, we should hit none of them. So I'm actually going to focus here because there's a lot of like tight bike movement. I don't... Like, if I make even like a one-tile error, we end up hitting a trainer. So let me just... There's also a spinner right here that we have to pass twice. Ooh, she turned right back, just a little late. There is something, like, spinners can just, like, turn back instantly, and, like, you're not going to wait, right? Like, you want to pass the spinner as soon as they turn away from you, but if they turn back immediately, there's, like, nothing you can do about avoiding them, unfortunately. Okay, we're out of his range anyway. If I was one more tile to the right, like that's, he would have got me. But like that's kind of an example of the bike in this game. It's very difficult sometimes to move just one tile when you really want to, since it goes from 0 to full speed instantly. But that should be it through this cave.
Don't forget the lucky egg.
We're going to get it. All right, so we're going to encounter the professor here for the first time. I think we had a phone call with her at the very beginning of the game. She's going to give us the Master Ball. Not useful, terrible item, honestly. We don't need it. It is an item that lets you catch any Pokemon without fail, and honestly, if I had that before Drillbur, that'd be really nice. I'd just throw it at Drillbur, because we don't need anything but Drillbur. Drillbur is easily the best Pokemon in the game, so... But now there's going to be two things we need to do before we move on in the story. We need to go see the professor, who is researching at a tower in the route to the right, and we also need to fight the gym leader, and I believe you can do them in either order. But we want to see the professor first, because she's going to give me an item called the Lucky Egg, which I will not forget to put on Excadrill. And the reason it's so important that it gets put on Excadrill is it multiplies the experience you get from battle by 1.5, so you level up much faster. Very important item. And the reason everyone is reminding me not to forget it is I am notorious for just getting it and forgetting it to put it on Excadrill, and then I'm under-leveled and things outspeed me that shouldn't, and I'm getting hit, and I die, and then the run's dead. So I'm going to get it and immediately put it on before I have the chance to forget. And we're just going to leave that on for the rest of the run so that Excadrill levels up quite a bit faster. Also, at some point, I do need to deposit... All right, that's fair.
Most technical part of the run complete.
All right, so now we're going to head to the gym. And the gym, I actually really like this gym. It's got a neat gimmick going on. It's completely cycle-based. And as long as your movement is perfect, you'll never encounter a trainer. Like, you can do this gym done correctly without ever encountering a trainer. So the way it works, on a cycle, every couple seconds, there's going to be a gust of wind. If you aren't in a couple safe spots, like behind a wall, the wind will push you down until you hit a wall. And often that means being pushed into trainers, the way it's laid out. It's laid out so that if you do get pushed by the wind at the wrong time, you will hit a trainer. But as long as my movement here is good, I will never hit a trainer. I believe it is 4 wind cycles, or 5? 5. right, and that should be it. We can now head straight to the gym leader. Nice. All right, so there is one theoretical problem with this gym leader. So I mentioned earlier that everything about this Excadrill is manipulated, and I mentioned that it is intentionally a female drill bar. That is because this Swoobat is female, and it has Attract, which if you're the opposite gender can sometimes occasionally prevent you from performing an action. So by being female, my Excadrill, first of all, whoops. My Excadrill is immune to the attracting, so it's not even going to go for it, and that's really good when I try to hit it. And then the only other potential issue with this fight is Swanna, who rocks... Ooh, I missed the range. Swanna is a 15 out of 16 range, and if I miss it, like, everything it could choose to go for is really bad. We don't want to see it ever get a chance to attack. Why am I missing this range twice?
You could also miss Rock Slide on that Swoobat.
Yeah, it has Unaware, so I did use a Hone Claws, which sets up for the later parts of the fight, but the Swoobat has Unaware, which just makes my boost pointless. It makes any boost stat changes at all are ignored. So the attack boost I had from Hone Claws didn't matter on Swoobat, but we wanted it for everything else. All right, so we are going to get our most powerful move, Earthquake. Earthquake is 100 base power, 100 accuracy. We get the same type attack bonus on it. It's actually an incredible move. It hits multiple Pokemon in double battles, triple battles. Everything about it is really good. Going to be a very useful move throughout this run. Ooh. So often, actually, I get the Steel Wing has a small chance to increase defense there, and I get that so often. If it got it there, it would have lived, and then it would have healed, and so many things. But that is Skyla, so now we can move on. So for the most part throughout this run, I think I've had fairly good RNG. Like we said before, this run is pretty consistent, but the RNG we've got is, I think, above average overall, which is really nice. But while I walk towards the next objective, there's going to be a few more cutscenes, so feel free to fit in a few donations while we're doing that.
Well, this is the perfect opportunity for me to tell you that I have a $1,000 donation from Alistair. Says, hey there, AGDQ, longtime viewer, longtime donator, etc. I've watched GDQ for years and always appreciate what you all do for the charities these events support. This year, the event hits a little closer to home. My dad lost his nearly decade-long fight with cancer in April of 2017. Through the remission periods, the chemo, the alternative treatment, I always thought he would make it longer and be here to see me buy my first house in June, get married this upcoming October, and so many more things. It's hard to think that there are many things he won't see, and I wish that no one else would have to go through. Hopefully through events like this and the support of you all, that could become a reality. This donation is in his honor. He always believed that money given to others who need it is the best way to spend money. I hope to continue that tradition for as long as possible. I love you, Dad, and I miss you. Let's hit that million and wipe out cancer. Absolutely fantastic.
All right, so this next area, we're actually heading to a place called Reversal Mountain. And we haven't touched on this earlier, actually, with one of the differences between White 2 and Black 2, but I am running White 2 right now. And they are considered the same game for the purposes of speedruns and on the leaderboards. And the reason White 2 is run over Black 2 is in part because of this area. It has a different layout in White 2 and Black 2. And Black 2 actually, I believe, forces an extra trainer battle compared to White 2. And additionally, Charles earlier, that triple battle we did, in Black 2, it's actually a rotation battle, another type of battle that's 3-on-3. But instead of all three Pokemon being active at once, there's one out at a time, and each turn you can swap and attack at the same time. It's much slower than a triple battle, even though it's safer. And for that reason, White 2 is run over Black 2. So we're only going to be forced to do one battle here. You may have noticed that we do have Bianca following us. She heals us after every battle, which is kind of nice for the heal we're going to get after the upcoming fight. And she'll also participate in this doubles battle, and she's generally a good partner as well, actually. We do appreciate Bianca on our team. She usually does what she needs to do. We just need her to keep attacking with Shadow Ball normally. And also, there is one potential range here that could pose an issue, but it's 75%. So Vibrava here, we really want to be taken out, because otherwise I think I'm at the health range where Vibrava could take me out if it doesn't die. So we really want to, yeah, Vibrava will take me out if it doesn't die here. So we do want to get that 75% range. Did get it. All right, that's good. And then I don't think that particularly matters. Grumpig should be taken out by Earthquake here. So Earthquake is a very useful move in double and triple battles, like I mentioned earlier, because it hits everything, including your partner. Ooh, Grumpig does not die to that, so we did need Shadow Ball. Bianca's letting us down. Oh, wait, no, never mind. She's good. All right, and then one more here on Drift Blim. Drift Blim should survive this Iron Head, so we do need Shadow Ball again from Musharna here. Ooh, we got the flinch, though. That's really nice. So that was overall a really good battle. I don't think that's ever a 2-turn battle. It's always a 3-turn, so that's as good as it can be. And like I said, that is the only battle we're going to have to do in this area, whereas on Black 2 there would be at least one more, I believe. And the reason she was actually following us is she wanted to do some research on a Pokemon that lives in this area, a rare one. I believe it's Heatran or something.
Yeah.
But we're just going to leave her to her research. We're not really interested. And we have what is probably one of the more difficult rival battles. It's definitely the one with the most variance. We want to be able to set up 2 Hone Claws in this battle to get to +2 attack and accuracy. But this Unfazant, I think it's pronounced, will use Taunt sometimes. It's either going to use Taunt or Detect. And if it uses Taunt turn 1, we only get 1 Hone Claws, and the fight is a little bit harder. So we really want to get 2. But it did go for Taunt, so we only get 1. It protected itself as well, so it's just wasting time at this point. So because we're only at +1, the Samurott here is going to get a chance to hit us, and it's going to do quite a bit of damage. And if it does over half, we're going to have to heal. It shouldn't, I don't think, unless he like max rolls. Or he could just flinch. Ooh, he went for Revenge? Oh, yeah. Now he goes for Aqua Jet, so I have to heal. That's what happens. So now he'll go for Aqua Jet, and that should do less than half. And then even if he goes for Aqua Jet again, we'll be safe. Yeah, so unless it crits, there we go. And so that's how this fight goes. If we got 2 Hone Claws, then Samurott actually falls to just a single Earthquake, and we would still probably be at full health. So that is rather unfortunate that we have to be at low health. I'm going to end up having to heal coming up, but not quite yet.
There's also the annoying thing when your health gets that low and you have that music that takes over, the danger music, and you don't get to actually hear the trainer music. The good music is taken away.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I didn't even mention it, but my Drillbur seed is a summer seed, and Undella Town, the town we were just in, has different beach music.
Oh,
Really?
no.
That was interesting. Normally, you're not supposed to hit this guy. I actually intentionally bonked the wall there to avoid hitting him, and then I was going to go after that, but like I guess I was either too fast or something happened there. Can't quite place what happened there. That's fine. He only has 1 Pokemon, and it should just die to Earthquake, maybe. Or, no.
Ooh.
That's
Hit
fine.
Dynamic Punch.
We have Revives. We can use those. So we'll just send in Pignite here.
You get 1 more use here out of the Pignite.
That's unfortunate. Oh no, I used a Revive. Alright, so first accidental trainer. Actually, looking on the upside of this, at the very least, I'll have a much safer fight against a trainer in the next gym, because I should be a higher level because of the extra experience from this battle, but still losing time overall on that one. First one. I didn't even know what he had. I'd actually never hit that trainer before. So one important item here is we're going to grab a Max Ether. This is going to be very useful later on in the run because You noticed we're not really visiting Pokemon centers, and we want to avoid that in general because it's really slow. We have healing items. Max Ether, Elixir, items like that are items that restore the PP or power points so that you can keep using moves. Because when you run out of power points, you can no longer use that move until you restore them. Each move has its own PP value, and the more powerful moves tend to have less. So like a lot of our moves at the start would have like 30 or 40 uses before you ran out, but Earthquake only has 10, Iron Head is 15, and we're going to be relying on those moves a lot. So we are going to need a couple restoring items late in the run for those. And we're just learning more about the backstory now of the legendary Pokemon from this game, which is Kyurem. But while this is going on, we still have a lot more text, so you can read a few donations.
All right, I've got $75 from Magi Obi-Wan. Trev, good luck on the run, and may the RNG be in your favor. Don't forget to defeat the cancer trainers with your amazing box movement strats I know you've been practicing. Let's Trev roll. Donation goes to Runner's Choice. I've got $100 from Anonymous. My mom battled with stage 4 ovarian cancer for 6 years. During AGDQ last year, I asked her if she wanted to donate, and she said, I'm already giving my life to cancer. A few more dollars couldn't hurt. She passed away a few months ago, so my donation this year and for every future AGDQ is in her memory. I love you, Mom. Also, I'll donate $20 more if the couch does an impression of their favorite Pokemon cry.
Well, Jink,
You're
Keysron has a very good impression of that.
How about I go last?
I don't even know how to do my Pokemon's cry. My favorite Pokemon's
All right,
cry.
well, mine's Gengar, and I'm pretty bad, but...
I'm not even going to say what mine is. Just
It, every year.
GDQ, man, every
Yep.
GDQ. I'm not going on a couch ever again.
All right, so we have another double battle here with Hugh. He's going to use Encore and be completely useless instead of attacking the very low health Golbat that we would really like him to do. So here comes Encore. Never seen him not do it. There it is. What a waste of a turn. So we'll finish the Golbat now with Aqua Jet now that it's low. And then in general, I'll just clean up the rest of the fight. And ooh, we get Swords Dance in this fight. So we do get Swords Dance here. Hone Claws is going to be replaced by it. Instead of the 1 attack stage increase and accuracy increase, Swords Dance just increases our attack by 2 stages, which is double our attack. It just straight up doubles our attack within 1 move, which is very powerful. Even though we lose the accuracy drop, we definitely prefer that to just 1 stage. Like, Swords Dance is one of the main reasons Excadrill doesn't require many X items in this run, because he can just set up on his own. He can just instantly double his attack whenever he needs to.
I don't think very much is going to survive a +2 Excadrill, especially at this stage in the game. So, very broken Pokemon with that move.
All right, so there's 1 rare candy here that we're going to need later, probably in Drayden's gym, and then there's going to be a Carbos here. So we're going to be passing through the village bridge right here, and we're going to be teaching Surf, Fly, and Strength all now. There's going to be a good bit of menuing. So, and the reason we're doing that is we want to pass through the river underneath the bridge, because if we try to pass on top of the bridge, there's a person who forces us to battle him. So while I'm doing this, you can definitely go through a few donations.
All right, I got $50 from Taw. Fantastic work from everyone at GDQ. It's awesome to see everyone coming together once again for a great cause. I'll donate another $50 whole if Trev will say ice arrows are his favorite. Put this money toward getting that punch-out run in.
It's not fair, man. All right.
I don't think you have a choice now.
All right. Ice arrows are my favorite. They are
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. Easily the best item in Majora's Mask. Infinitely useful.
There we go. Just a quick heads up, we are getting closer to that $60,000 mark for that Super Punch-Out and Punch-Out 2-in-1 run. Make sure you get those donations in.
All right, so we do need to teach all our HMs now. So we got Surf, and now just Fly is left. And then we'll be able to pass underneath the river here. And Fly is useful because it allows you to soar to any town you've been to previously. Surf lets you travel on water. And we taught Strength as well to Ignite, which allows us to push big boulders, which will be useful, I think, only in Victory Road, right? Music here is very peaceful. All right, so one more route here. All the trainers are easily avoidable, and then we're going to encounter another one of that legendary trio that I mentioned earlier. This one is Virizion. It is a grass fighting type, and it is inferior to Excadrill in every way, so wave goodbye.
It also continues a tradition of NPCs just jumping from a cliff.
Yeah.
I can't line up with Iris. I actually... I swapped my road to try and line up with this NPC 3 times, and every time I went 2 tiles instead of 1. It's the thing with the bike in this game, man. All right, so actually I'm going to stop by the Pokemon Center. We don't normally do this, but I have 4 Pokemon in my party, and that will actually prove problematic for one battle later, a double battle. So we're going to just deposit Rinxino, so say goodbye forever, and I'm going to put Ducklet in slot 2. And then head to Drayden's gym, which is the Dragon Gym. So I believe Ember also had trouble with this gym because I don't think it had any powerful fighting moves at this point, and fire is resisted by dragon types. So this is another gym where Excadrill performs far better.
Yeah, you have return as Ember for this gym.
So you don't even get like same type attack bonus on it. And like another thing is one of the battles in this gym is a triple battle, and we can just you'll see Excadrill will slay everything with Earthquake.
I also love the animations of this gym with the dragons and everything. It's really cool.
Yep, the thing with this gym is we're going to be riding like a big dragon statue upwards, and at every level that it stops at, you can pick either the right or left trainer. We're going to be picking the right trainer in both instances, and you'll be seeing why. Ooh, nice flinch. So right there, Fracture was probably trying to set up Dragon Dance, and if it sets up Dragon Dance, it gets a speed boost, and it actually becomes a speed tie. Although actually, we do have an extra level at this point because of the extra trainer, so maybe it's not a speed tie in that case, but normally it would be a speed tie. And then it becomes a little interesting. You don't want to build up too much damage in this gym because you can avoid a heal if you do. But otherwise, it's not too much of a problem. So here we can choose right or left. The theme of these 2 trainers is the right one is more aggressive. He's an offense-based trainer. The left one is a defense trainer. We want to take the offense-based trainer just because we can knock out his Pokemon a little bit faster. I think the other ones like have protect in some cases, or I don't exactly remember. I remember checking that trainer when I first started running. So we're going to set up 1 Swords Dance here, and then just Iron Head through. Or actually, I'm going to Earthquake. We need to save Iron Heads. We're running low. I only need a few Earthquakes, but I need at least 6 Iron Heads, I think, leaving this gym. So we're going to... and 3 Earthquakes. So how am I doing here? Yeah, plenty of Earthquakes. All right. And so because I hit an extra trainer, I actually normally would rare candy much earlier than I have. I still have that rare candy I got earlier. I would have done it when I was using the HMs, teaching all those HMs to the Pokemon in my party. However, because we hit an extra trainer, my experience was different, and I can get away with using it now to actually be level 45 for this fight instead of 44. So because of that extra trainer, we're actually a whole level ahead of where we normally would be, which makes this fight a bit safer. And notably, it is a triple battle, and we actually want Excadrill in the center, so I'm going to do that real quick after using the rare candy, and we need to revive Pignite as well. No, not... I'm missing. Touchscreen accuracy is down today. All right, we'll head into this battle. So just like the other triple battle we did, we actually want everything but Excadrill to be dead by the end of it so that it doesn't take any of the experience we want Excadrill to get, even though he's ahead of where we need him to be. So we're going to spend 1 turn using Swords Dance, which is enough to just guarantee the KO on all 3 of those enemy pokes. And then they will take out my... They will take out my 2 extra Pokemon on the sides with their turn, because the AI will prioritize Pokemon it can KO if it can with that turn. And because they're both so low leveled, it will prioritize them because they're both in a KO range. So now after that Swords Dance, I just choose Earthquake, and everything falls before Excadrill, ideally. I think at level 44, Druddigan is actually a range, but I believe at 45 it's a guaranteed KO. So that's the nice thing about hitting that extra trainer earlier. It's like at least we get a consistent fight here that I can't. Like if that Earthquake didn't take out Druddigan, it would actually, I believe, use Revenge and KO me. So we don't want to see that. So that being a guaranteed KO is really nice. And then now we're at the Gym Leader. Gym Leader is fairly easy, actually. Like there's so much more wrong that can go with like the triple battle than the actual Gym Leader here, honestly. But we do set up a Swords Dance, and actually, like this is one of those fights where that Carbos we got from the Pokemon World Tournament earlier really comes in handy, because I believe we actually outspeed the Flygon by 1 point thanks to those Carbos. So it's very close. Very nice that the route works out like that, because Flygon can do a decent amount of damage. But otherwise, not much threat to Excadrill in this fight at all.
Yeah, at the Ember route, I'm pretty sure you had to set up 3 X attacks and then an X speed. So you lose a lot of time just setting up.
Yeah, at the end of the... So we've passed the department store now in the game, and we don't need to go there at all with Excadrill route. But I believe Ember route went there because it needed a bunch of X items, and it would buy, like, how many X attacks and X speeds?
There's 21 X attacks and 11 X speeds.
It's ridiculous. We don't need any more X items for the rest of the run. Alright, so Haxorus should outspeed me here unless the extra level matters. No, but it uses Dragon Dance, and Iron Head will KO it. So, very easy Gym Leader once we set up our Swords Dance. Haxorus really can't do much damage with any of its moves. It's got like Dragon Tail, Slash. It's not a particularly threatening Pokemon. Excadrill as a Steel type is one of the only types that resist Dragon type moves, so he has a much easier time with this gym than Ember does for multiple reasons.
Dragon Tail could be annoying, but because you have no other Pokemon on your team, he can't really knock you out. So,
Yep.
Which is the effect of Dragon Tail.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I put that extra Pokemon back in the PC. I'm only supposed to have 3 Pokemon at this stage, but I got a 4th just due to having to switch up the route. And if I had a 4th, it actually would have been sent out in the triple battle, and I would have had like to wait another turn for it to be KO'd unless I wanted to take my experience. So very important that I deposited Minxino there. Now we get to we have several cutscenes coming up, so feel free to fit in a donation or 2.
All right. I'll start with Taw coming back to us with another $50. $50 as promised. You went above and beyond to finally express your true feelings for ice arrows. For real, though, we love you, Trev. Good luck. We got $5 from the Lil Dragon. Hello. I bestow upon thee the only dollar this 14-year-old has right now, along with 4 of my dads, to make $5. I've been watching for years, and my whole family loves the runs. Have my donation go towards Runner's Choice, and please forgive me for being so broke. Every little bit helps. And then here's one for you. I've got $10 from Takurt. Hey, Trev. Trev brother here. Just want to wish you the best of luck. Kind of wish I could join you to cheer you on in person, but this will have to do. Also, money goes to Trev's Choice.
All right, so after all of this backstory we're getting, he's explaining how he's protecting an item called the DNA Splicers, which is an item that would allow the legendary Pokemon Reshiram and Kyurem, who are the still the stars of this game, but also last game, to fuse with a Pokemon called Kyurem. He believes Team Plasma is after the DNA Splicers, and tells us that he's been keeping them safe, I believe. So conveniently enough, Team Plasma is here, and they want the DNA Splicers. So they are going to use this weapon to encase the entire town in ice. And I am terrible at ice movement.
This is very anime.
It's like a Final Fantasy airship, man. Like this cutscene's so ridiculous.
I mean, up to this point, the cutscenes have just been like us in a boat and then us in a plane. Made much use of it. Those cutscenes seem very unnecessary, and they just fit them in for the sake of it.
See, now you got me thinking anime, and they're just like, Nani?
All right, so now that they've encased the town in ice, they've basically taken the place over. They have grunts everywhere that we need to take out because they're looking for those DNA splicers. So we're going to help Drayden clear them really quick, and then at the end, we will actually fight Zinzalin, who appears to be the leader. But, spoiler, that's probably not the case. All right, so we were managing, I mentioned we were managing the power points earlier. It's for these fights. I needed 6 Iron Heads, a couple Earthquakes. We did hit an extra trainer and used some extra, but not really an issue. I do believe I have plenty. And I think, yeah, we have extra. So most of these fights are fairly uninteresting if you want to fit in a donation so that nobody pays attention to me making a fool of myself on the ice.
All right, well, I'll be glad to help you out with that. I got $200 from Grenke. Hey guys, love what you are doing every year. My mom has suffered from cancer for the last 7 years now and has been declared incurable. She is okay right now, but still suffers with great pain. I really hope we can someday cure this disease. Money goes to Runner's Choice. I've got $102 from Riolu. All the Riolu at Philosophy Ranch wanted to give you some money for your journey, but you ran away before we could give it to you. Guess we'll just have to donate it instead. And then got $50 from the Irate Pirate. Hey Trev, Pirate here. Been enjoying your run since last GDQ and wanted to donate while you were on today. Unfortunately, I'm on vacation, so I'm only able to tune in and out of the run. Hope it is fun and awesome as you are. Money goes to your choice.
So we got one more here. I think I used an extra Earthquake, but I had one to begin with, so I just decided to be safe. In general, I've been trying to avoid using super effective moves when they're not necessary. Whenever you hit something with a super effective move, there's an extra text box to tell you that it was super effective. However, it actually slows down, and if you don't need a super effective move to KO the Pokemon in question, like this, the Viper, it's a poison type, it would be weak to Earthquake. I could just use Earthquake, but Iron Head is actually a guaranteed KO, so I can avoid that extra text box. I'm going to be doing that in some cases where I know that I don't need to use a super effective move, which by this point, Excadrill has become very powerful. Again, we're an Adamant nature, so very high attack. We had a Protein earlier, so Excadrill's attack stat is through the roof by this point, and we're over-leveling our opponents. Through a lot of the things before this, we were actually under-leveled, or similar level through the mid-game, 5th, 6th gym. But now we're over-leveled again, thanks to the Lucky Egg catching us up, and we're going to stay about as over-leveled as we are right now. We're not going to get too much further over-leveled, because again, that Gen 5 experience curve is going to kick in, and with that, we're going to get less experience for fighting lower-leveled Pokemon. However, we're still going to stay quite a bit ahead. Alright, so my health is good for this fight. Cryogonal's very weak defensively, and it's Iron Head is super effective. So these, I'm pretty sure if there was a line of 10 Cryogonals behind that one, they would all be KO'd by the single Iron Head, honestly. Weavile here is going to, I believe this is a range on Earthquake, and it also has a priority move in Ice Shard, which always goes first. But I have plenty of health to even survive a second one. But it fainted, so we're fine. Alright, so it appears we have defeated all of the Team Plasma Grunts, and they all leave. However, at this point, Drayden is going to be an idiot, and he's going to go and get the DNA splicers, bring them out of their hiding place in the gym for some reason, and then and then this happens. So these Shadow Triad, the superhuman people who can paralyze people and just completely overpower them, they're going to take it. They've taken the DNA splicers, and they're going to run away, and we're going to chase after them. And instead of just, completely overpowering us the way they have already demonstrated they are able to do, they are going to fight me in a Pokemon battle. And I got a free heal and almost forgot. Caught it just in time. We want to switch Excadrill back to the first slot in party. We had it in the second slot in party, so it would be in the middle in the triple battle, so we could reach everything from the center. The center Pokemon in a triple battle can reach everything, but remember the things on the edge can't reach the opposite edge, and we wanted to hit everything with Earthquake. So we need to switch back to the first slot now. This is a very simple, easy battle. We're gonna eventually end up battling all 3 Shadow Triad members, and they all have 2 Pawniards and then 1 Pokemon that's like, I guess their ace that's different. I believe they are Absol, Bayonet, and Aselgor.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yep. The only one that can like even do anything is the Aselgor. I've actually died to the Aselgor before because I wasn't like when I first started running this game. I'm like, oh, these fights are easy. There's nothing wrong, but there actually is something that can happen there that'll... It's really interesting. I've never seen anything quite like it, because the move that he uses isn't really used, but in that situation, it can actually be very effective. All right, so they did get the DNA splicers, because Drayden is not very smart. So now we're going to chase after them, but despite saying we're all going to chase after them, I'm instead going to stop by the Humalau City and fight the 8th gym instead, because priorities. So we're going to go back to Undella Town one time just because it's the closest. And again, this town, there is a season system in this game based on the month that your DS is set to. When I set my date and time to the date like February, it's actually a summer month in the game, so this town gets different music that it only gets during the summer. You got to hear 2 seconds of that. And on our way to the next town, we're going to pass through the Marine Tube, and I think it's just meant to look pretty. So while we're going through it, feel free to get in a donation.
All right. I got $150 from Sounds Crazy. Always got to show my love to the Pokemon speedrun community. Good luck to TrevPerson, and put this donation towards the Punch-Out incentive, which has now cleared the $60,000 mark. So we're getting incredibly close to making that a reality. Make sure you get those donations in, because that will close as soon as the Mega Man 1 through 3 team relay race ends. So if you want to see that, the two games, 1 controller run, get your donations in.
All right, so for anyone who's been counting, we have done 7 of the 8 gyms. This is the final one. It is a water-type gym, and Drillbur as a ground-type can have, in theory, problems with this one, but we've reached a point where if everything goes optimally, we shouldn't have a big issue. It's like, I wouldn't even consider it the hardest gym for Drillbur, honestly. There's only a few things that can truly go wrong.
Yeah, with Ember, this is a really bad gym, because you almost have to heal after every fight.
I feel like that's kind of just the theme. Ember just always struggles with every gym.
Yeah, one of its main moves is Flare Blitz, which is a high-power move, but it does recoil damage based on the amount of damage you do. And with how many things you probably would need to take out with it, it's as your most powerful move, you end up healing a lot more.
Yeah, you don't get that till very late game though. For this, you have Thunder Punch with
Yes.
Ember.
All right, so there is a lily pad puzzle here. Done optimally, I actually only have to fight 2 trainers. Pretty simple, actually. So we do have time for another donation or 2 while I do this.
All right. I got $70 from Karsten69, says, I always come through on my promises. This is how many super effectives, burns, and crits you've had during the run so far. Oh, and an extra $1 for the Shuckle doll. I can't stay awake though. Sorry to cut it short. Good run so far, excuse me. Greetings from Denmark. And then Empire Ship donated $57 and said, your Excadrill is the Excadrill that will pierce the heavens.
All right, so yet another trainer. This is the last one before the gym leader. Golduck, I believe, is arranged, but we did get it. So not an issue. I guess Starmie should always be KO'd. We have to use a lot of Earthquakes here, and this is actually going to be an issue later on. We ideally don't want to have to use any extras because they're already extremely limited, and we have to rely on that move for the most part throughout this gym because water types resist Iron Head, so it's not going to be doing too much damage. And now we can just finish up this puzzle by doing this, bringing this one around in a circle, and that'll get us to the gym leader. And this gym leader, like I said, can be an issue, usually isn't, but the biggest problem that we can encounter here, all of his Pokemon have a move called Scald. Scald is a fairly decent base power water move, but its the biggest issue with it is it has a 30% chance to burn. And that, again, halves your attack. All his Pokemon have it. We really don't want to get burned. If we do, the fight becomes slower, and I might have to sacrifice one of our other Pokemon. But we could just get... Oh, there's Scald. No burn. All right, that's good. So we are in KO range now, though. And, like, there's no point trying to heal because it's very likely this Wailord's just going to try to KO us now because I am in KO range. So no point trying to heal it. Scald does over half my health. I'm just going to take the death. Is that a crit? That's a crit.
Nice. Wow.
That saves a lot of time, actually.
I'm still going to die, though, to Jellicent unless I get this Iron Head flinch. That'd be amazing. Oh, dang it. All right. So all we do is send in one of the other Pokemon, have them be KO'd while we revive Excadrill, and Iron Head plus Earthquake should be enough to KO Jellicent. Oh, I used Revive last. We got to see Pignite again. All right, so the way that fight would normally go, Caracosta actually using Scald on me there and bringing me below half is very rare. That is actually the first time I've ever seen that happen. Normally, Caracosta will go for Shell Smash, which is a setup move that doubles your attack, your special attack, and your speed all at once, but lowers your defense and special defense. And what's funny is even though Shell Smash doubles his speed, you still outspeed him, so it doesn't matter at all. You take him out next turn. So that's the ideal fight, but Caracosta going for Scald there is not the norm, and it forced me to have to take a death there really quick. It's not the optimal fight, but fairly good Marlin anyway. So now we have all 8 badges, so we are able, like, we aren't quite able to access the Pokemon League quite yet. We do have to finish up a few loose ends in the story. Also, I want to comment, Marlin just exited the screen in the top right there, right? He swam off to the top after we beat him, just completely left. He's going to appear again very quickly after having exited through the top of the screen, and he's going to come from the bottom. So here he is. He did a full loop somehow. I'm not quite sure how that happens. So I have to do a little bit of movement to get to our next event, so feel free to fit in a donation.
All right, I've got $50 from Fanthoric. I have to donate during the series that started my gaming. The sprites in Gen 5 are one of my favorite things introduced to Pokemon and added attitude and fun to the experience. Good luck to Trev and put this donation to Mike Tyson Punch-Out. Once again, we are just short of $15,000 away from matching that, so make sure you get your donations in. I'll do you guys a favor. I'll amend my previous statement. I will double the static offer if we can at least hit the Punch-Out and Super Punch-Out before the end of the Pokemon run. I want to hit that million, but if you guys can get us to $75,000 for the Punch-Out and Super Punch-Out, I'll double it.
All right. So right there, we encountered Colress again. I actually never encountered the Roadblock that he just gave me an item for. So I went up to get it so that when I first encounter it, I'm already prepared to deal with it. And it's another Crustle, just like earlier in the game where he used a machine to clear Crustles out of the way. He gave us that machine. And then, actually, this is interesting. So this trainer right here is a spinner, but I made no attempt to dodge her because even if I hit her, she actually allows me to skip a different trainer. So, like, you just ignore this spinner. If you get caught by her, you skip the other trainer that you're forced to require if you dodge the spinner. So, like, either way, you have to fight one trainer. And they're so close in speed that it's not worth attempting to dodge the spinner because pretty much any time spent dodging this spinner will just make it slower than, like, actually fighting it, since now I get to skip the other trainer that you would otherwise fight. I think this is the only instance of something like that in the game. So there's a trainer to the right over there. Ooh, his position was... I bonked a few times. He almost caught me. Shouldn't be that close.
So what's interesting about the trainers in caves, this is one of 2 trainers in which if there is a cave spot like the drill bird that we encountered or we caught, if the cave spot happens in front of the trainer, you can actually skip the trainer fight. And so you don't actually have to fight them.
Yep, trainer's vision does not go beyond dust clouds. If there was one right there, be able to just pass her right up. I actually, since I've never had that happen, I have no idea how that affects the experience, although I'm probably still a little bit ahead, even though the game is pulling me back a little bit, since I'm getting higher leveled in a lot of fights, but... I mean, we're at a... Ooh, nice flinch. But we're at a point where... Like, it wouldn't probably make a big difference. I can't imagine. Like, I did calculations on most fights. It's very unlikely that would make a big difference. So it'd be really not, it'd be a huge time save if that happened. Like, it's actually an insane thing. Like, it's so unlikely that a dust cloud would appear in front of that trainer. But if it did, it would save... How long is that fight? Like a minute?
A little less.
Which, even if it's a little bit less, that's a significant amount of time.
Yeah.
And then there's another trainer in Victory Road that you could skip with the same one.
All right, so this Crustle was blocking away. We're going to use the machine that Colress gave us just to start an encounter, but we're going to run away. It's the experience we get from it isn't necessary or useful. One thing to note is wild Pokemon don't give as much experience as trainer battles. There is, I believe, a 1.5 times multiplier applied to the experience a Pokemon gives if it's a trainer's Pokemon. So wild Pokemon are often less worthwhile to actually KO. Like, it's not even as little time as it would take me, since it would more than likely fall to an Iron Head unless it has Sturdy. It's just not worth it.
There's also the fact that we're already so over-leveled, it doesn't really help, so.
Yep. So we are going to board the Plasma Frigate again. This time we're going to make it a bit farther. But we will be met by a couple Plasma Grunts here. And just like all Plasma Grunts, they have like the same Pokemon as always, so feel free to spin a donation. Their Pokemon tend not to change. They tend to, it's the same Pokemon.
All right, got $100 from Dandy Sprat. Greetings from the Cancer Prevention Institute of California. We are with you in the fight to prevent cancer. Good luck to all the runners. This one goes to Runner's Choice. Gotta cure 'em all. Another $150 from Felty Minotaur 61. Love to see Pokemon beaten so quickly. Good luck on the run.
Do you have time for a few more? There's unfortunately one more.
All right, got another $200 from Ryujin. Good luck, TrevPerson, on a good BW2 run while journeying through the Stoutland. I saw his bucks, so I had to donate. Thanks for sharing this run with us all. Take it calmly and try not to get peed off.
All right, so I mean, this battle is just another double battle. Not much goes on with this one. Hugh does have another opportunity to be useless. He's going to be using Aqua Tail hopefully throughout this battle. Aqua Tail is not 100% accurate. I've had him miss it in more runs than he realistically should, considering how accurate it is. I'm pretty sure it's 90.
Yeah.
Yep. He misses it in half my runs, I swear. So, if he lands every Aqua Tail, though, he went for Encore? What's wrong with this guy? Never mind, dude.
Should pick a better rival.
Clearly. I mean, I just basically knocked him out. He got poisoned because apparently he's just so inept that he can't. So now he's going to die to that poison.
He Aqua-tailed, though.
He did Aqua Tail. He thought better in his final moments. All right, so just Garbodor left. It doesn't matter that Samurott fainted other than it wasting time because I should be able... This is a range, actually, but it's very likely that I get it, and I did. And either way, his Simisage is more than likely faster just because it's pretty fast. Pokemon in general, high base speed, so... Even if I'd missed it, it would have been like just barely a miss, and Simisage would have finished it. Unless he decided to not use an attack, but knowing you, he totally could have done it. All right, so now we are tasked with, in order to get by those barriers, you may have noticed there was a couple barriers above me in that room. We need a key card and a password to get by those barriers, both of which you can find throughout this lower area by fighting trainers, I believe. But we're only going to be getting the key card. We don't need the password, and I will explain why is when I enter the password itself. Because there are several random passwords. There's not just one, and yet I can tell you right now, I know what the password is already.
Yeah, I think there's 12 different passwords that you could have.
Yep, the passwords that are possible are 1101 through 9909. All of those variants with each number. And then Reshiram, Zekrom, and Kyurem, I believe. Also, there's someone in my chat. Ooh, wait, I didn't use the... Okay, I'll kill this one with Iron Heads, and then I'll use the Max Ether. I was supposed to use the Max Ether. Caught in my own explanations. Thankfully, the Poniards aren't that threatening. I needed to Max Ether as soon as I run out of Earthquakes, because you need a lot of Earthquakes. I guess, if nothing else, I have extra Earthquakes now. So we will use the Max Ether on Earthquake, get those back. And then there's someone in my chat who just absolutely loves this trainer, always likes to point out, this trainer has 3 Poniards, and he just does not understand why. This trainer really likes Poniard. Alright, so this trainer will give us the key card, and we absolutely need that to be able to input a password at all. But like I said, I already know the password, and the reason I already know the password is because it's actually generated as a part of your seed when you first create the file, all the way back at the beginning of the game. From that moment, the password for this door is set. And because we didn't get the RNG manipulation, but I did I did use the backup one that did get the RNG manipulation. So the password is going to be 9909. Which is actually one of the faster passwords. You really don't want Reshiram, Kyurem, or Zekrom. Those are all bad passwords. And I'm going to heal here just for safety. It shouldn't be necessary at that health, but... Still have a couple hyper potions. Hopefully we won't need the other ones until later. So I have them for like the Elite Four and whatnot. So we have another double battle with Zinzalin here, and it is with Hugh. And out of all of the battles in the entire game, this is the one where Hugh is the most consistently useful. I've never seen him not go for Aquatail, I'm pretty sure. And as long as he doesn't miss it, we should have a 3-turn fight here. Because they have 6 Pokemon, as long as we KO 2 every turn, should be good. So it's time for Hugh to hit those Aquatails, KO the Pokemon for me.
You want to put money on the line?
I don't think I trust you enough, dude.
He'll miss, probably, knowing him. Oh.
He landed the first Aquatail, did KO. We need 2 more of those. I am running out of Iron Heads. I think I'm going to Rock Slide here. I did waste an Iron Head earlier, so we're going to actually do that. Could miss. Hopefully I don't. Then just helping Hugh along here. Make sure he definitely doesn't miss it. All right, that's 2. And then Weavile here. I should Earthquake, and at this stage, Scolipede should faint to the Earthquake. Weavile will be mostly taken down, and Hugh should finish it. And if so, that's a 3-turn fight, and that's as good as you can get. So Hugh actually did his job as long as he KOs the Weavile. Hey, he did it. All right, I think that one deserves a round of applause.
What a guy.
Not useless, just this once. I do believe that is the final double battle with Hugh as well, so we have no more. Don't have to worry about him messing it up somehow every single time he shows up.
Thank goodness.
All right, so again, the Shadow Triad, who challenged us to a battle before, is going to forgo that and just kick us out again, because I don't know why they ever battle anyone if they can do that. But right now, Plasma Frigate's going to go off to a cave. It's actually the cave that Kyurem could be found originally in the Black and White, but in this game it's part of the story. They're going to be bringing Kyurem there, and we need to chase after them. There's nothing to do in between, so we can just head straight there, which is nice as long as we know where it is. So we do have time for a few donations, because we have this cutscene and then quite a bit of text after.
All right. Got $200 from John O. Love seeing new Pokemon speedruns in AGDQ. Keep up the great work. And we got $25 from Dexter164. Gotta see Punch Out. Namrasil134 donated $150. Said, hey GDQ, I had to donate during the Pokemon run. Nice to see Trev here. May the RNG god be with you. Gotta catch 'em all. Oh wait. And then another $24.39 from Mira Jr. 89 says, come on everyone, we can get the Super Punch Out and Mike Tyson's Punch Out run to happen. I just want to see that 2 games, 1 controller become a reality. Those donations are flying in. We are getting closer and closer to making that happen.
All right. Once again, everyone say hi to Terrakion and then bye. Terrakion is actually probably the best of the 3 legendary trio in this game, but still not better than Excadrill, unfortunately.
Well, that makes the Ember route better because you catch Terrakion.
Yeah.
I would too if I was using an Ember.
The Verzion would have even been tempting at that point.
There's some Ember fan in chat right now that's like, oh.
I'm sorry. Ember sucks. All right, so I'm going to do something that might seem a little bit interesting to people, but I'm going to exit through this cave, and then I'm just going to head right back in and actually go to where I'm going. And I'm not going to explain why. Because that will come up a little bit later. So take my word for it, that was fast. And so we do have a confrontation here between the old members of Team Plasma and the newer ones. Originally, the old members of Team Plasma were actually hesitant to join, but they realized that they're still loyal to N, who is a character from the original game who ends up being the king of Team Plasma. And after Team Plasma breaks off after that game, they remain loyal to him, and they change their motives because they believe that like N wants to save Pokemon, and so they shift around their motives a little bit and are now on our side. All right, right here, this Weezing, we really want it to explode. It has Explosion. We can't KO it in 1 turn. If it would explode, that'd be really nice. There it is. Alright, so 1 Iron Head left. I believe, do I have 1 or 2 Earthquakes left?
You ethered a little bit late, so you might have more than 2 right now.
Yeah, I can definitely use Earthquakes. I should have 2 Iron Head. I probably should have Earthquaked the Muck, because I do have an extra Earthquake, but that's fine. An Earthquake should fix it just as well. So we did get a couple max revives there, which is good, because by this point I'm usually close to running out of revives. We might have 2 left. Very often I'll have 2 left, but revives are nice to have. And we can just move on because the old Team Plasma members are going to handle all this for us. So thankfully you don't have to go through all these grunts. But 2 of my favorite grunts in the entire game are coming up. Completely, like they are actually, I have nothing to say about them actually. They're just crazy. They're insane. So we're just going along. We were able to pass all those Team Plasma grunts. And then we enter here and we get this. Knave, I do ambush thee. Oh, you've been ambushed. I love those trainers. I make such a big deal of those trainers. It's so nonsensical. So this battle changes actually based on the number of additional Pokemon besides Excadrill we have. I believe we only have 1 because we had to sacrifice Pignite. So we are going to actually, but it's actually Ducklet we have out, so we do need to get a Swords Dance off here while we wait for Ducklet to get KO'd. And then with that Swords Dance, we should be able to just clear through everything. We have 6 Earthquakes. We'll have to, yeah, I do want a second Iron Head here, but it's not a huge issue. I'll just be able to sub in an Earthquake, actually, since I have the extra, and it will work just as well. So the biggest threat here is this Scrafty. It can actually KO me from this position with high jump kick. But Iron Head should take it out. We want to deal with that. Rock Slide next turn for the Golbat and the incoming Whirlipede. And as long as it hits both, that's good. And then finally we'll end this with Earthquake. And if all that happens, that'll have been a pretty optimal fight.
I like how the Golbat main looked, even though you have no other Pokemon with you.
The AI is very intelligent in all Pokemon games.
He hard read the revive.
Yeah.
All right, so other than those two trainers, actually, I won't have to fight anymore until Zinzalin again, as long as I go through this area well. Is the pipe maze, and I guess a lot of people in this who play this game get lost here casually, but I already know the path through, obviously. And something interesting is all the trainers here, they're all spinners for the most part, or at least a lot of them are, but they all only have a sight range of 1. So I can just pass through them, or pass by them, as long as I don't get any closer than that. So I'm able to avoid every single encounter in this area as long as I move correctly. So like this one right here, I can just pass right by him. Because he can't see further than a single tile. And the goal here is to push these 4 switches, all these teleporters. And like if you don't know the pathway, it's fairly confusing. But since I already know it, I already know where I need to go in order to reach all these switches. Push all 4 to get rid of yet another barrier. This should be the final one right here. Ooh, I just lost audio there? Did it?
We lost everything.
There we go.
Yeah, it's back.
Brief technical difficulties, it's okay.
Just have to splice the run really quick, no big deal.
You know it. All right. So upcoming is Zinzalin, and actually, since I'm out of Iron Heads, I do want to save my elixir for after. The fight's not particularly threatening, so I'm just going to rely on Rock Slide. There is an alternate route I could have done by using an elixir, but I'd rather save it. The route is safer that way, other than me having to Rock Slide and potentially missing one of these Cryogonals. So hopefully we don't miss. If we do, I can just heal. There's 2 Cryogonals. We definitely want to see Rock Slide hit both. There's 1. And then after this is a couple more important fights. One of them has probably what is the best songs in the game, so I'm probably just going to let that one play while we do that fight. It's not a particularly interesting fight, but you'll see what I mean when we actually are in that fight. It has very good music. Alright, and 101 HP going into it. I do believe we should heal. I'm actually going to try to save the Hyper Potions, though. We're running kind of low, and I want to save those for later. I believe we still have Super Potions from earlier, so I'll do that when I gain control. But we are finally going to learn that Colress, who we've been encountering all game, is actually associated with Team Plasma and is acting as the head of Team Plasma instead of Zinzalin. So he reveals he's not necessarily an evil character. He's just doing it because he believes it will further his research. He's that kind of character that will do anything if it will further his research. I do have a fresh water. That's good. So we do have to battle him, and I'm just gonna let the music play. It is considered one of the best songs in the game. Oops, we want the elixir. that's it for Chorus. Easily one of my favorite songs in the game. I had to let you guys listen to that one. If you haven't heard it before, it's easily one of my favorite songs in a Pokemon game ever, I think. I think a lot of people share that opinion, so. All right, so through this, however, we learned that he's actually not the true leader of Team Plasma. So we are going to gain the ability to go past a Plasma Grunt that would have blocked us earlier until we beat Colress over here. Some small notes, I guess, about the Colress fight. Both the Magneton and the Magnezone had Sturdy, which is why I Iron-Headed them beforehand. We don't want to Earthquake them because it'll just be stopped by Sturdy, the one-hit KO protection. And then he'll heal them. He has healing items. So we don't want to put them in healing range. Generally, when important trainers' Pokemon fall below 25% health, they'll use healing items if they have them. So we wanted to avoid that. And then the Klinkling also had a air balloon, which we had to get rid of. It's a one-time use item. It breaks as soon as you get attacked, but it makes you immune to all ground-type moves until it is broken. But plot twist, we have learned that now Getsis, who is the villain from the first Pokemon Black and White, he has come back. He has basically remained in the background throughout the entire run. That's basically how it works in the first game, too. He doesn't reveal himself until the end of the game. But he's going to have the Shadow Triad who can completely incapacitate us and just paralyze us. They're going to battle, and then after they all lose, they're just going to let us pass. Because reasons.
There's an honor kid in the Pokemon world. If you lose the battle, like, you just have to leave.
Yep. All right, so I actually do not have enough Earthquakes. Like I said before, each Shadow Triad member has 2 Poniards. I don't have enough Earthquakes to take out all of them, so I double Ironhead that one instead of Earthquake to save an Earthquake, and also because the first Poniard that they send out has the ability Defiant, but the second one they send out has Inner Focus, and we want to avoid... Inner Focus is an ability that prevents flinching, and we want to be able to potentially get that Ironhead flinch. So it's specifically on the first one, since Defiant isn't relevant to that battle. And we have to do 2 more. We do have time for 1 donation. I want to say something about the third fight here, but this one's not interesting.
All right. I got $250 from Jeff A. 117. This is for everyone at Gamers Guild. We lost a really good friend to cancer in 2015. He was a huge fan of Pokemon, and we watch AGDQ every year. Awesome to see the gaming community come together to help beat this terrible disease. Good luck to all the runners. We are now just under $13,000 away from meeting the Punch-Out and Super Punch-Out incentive. Nice job, guys. Keep it going.
All right, so coming up to the third Shadow Triad member, he has obviously the 2 Poniards, but he also has an Acelgor, which is a new Pokemon in Generation 5. It has a move called Me First, and while Acelgor isn't normally particularly threatening, Me First is a move that allows you to take the move that your opponent is using and then use it against them, as long as you go first. And I'm going to use Ironhead against it, and in a run once, very early on when I first started running this game, it Me Firsted my Ironhead, flinched me, and I didn't notice. I was just mashing because I assumed he was dead, and then proceeded to kill me afterwards. So that is an interesting thing that can happen. It doesn't do that much damage, but it has definitely happened to me. It's pretty funny when it happens, so he's probably going to do it here. Nope, Giga Drain. All right, not this time. Giga Drain actually does do more damage, but he tends to favor Me First. I've seen that way more.
Yeah, Acelgor is ridiculously fast. I think he's like 160 base speed, so it's definitely going to go first.
All right, I made it through all the Shadow Triad members. No Earthquakes left, but we're coming up to a free heal, so it doesn't matter. We actually only need 1 more Ironhead, in theory.
In theory. On the very off chance.
There is something that can happen that it's incredibly rare. I'm going to wait till after to mention it because we're going to jinx it. But
It has happened to a runner.
it has killed runs. But it is like... it's very difficult to calculate how often it can happen because there'd be so much math in that, but I want to say it's definitely like below 5%, maybe even lower.
It's 50-50. It either happens or it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's Pokemon.
All right, so this is like the last segment of the run where there's going to be just a bunch of text and cutscenes. Getsis here is going to rant and rant and rant about how evil he is and about He's even going to attempt to kill us here, I guess. Not interesting, so we have time for some donations.
All right, I got $300 from Anonymous. Greetings from a person on a couch watching people on a screen, sitting on a couch watching Pokemon on a screen. Donating towards Punch Out. Got $20 from Quill Sparks. Love Pokemon, love this run. Great player, great couch, and great event. Just who the heck do you think I am? Take my money for charity. That's the way Team Excadrill rolls. $25 from Jeremiah and 29. Here's my yearly contribution. Lost my uncle 2 years ago to cancer, and AGDQ is the perfect time of the year to do my part. Video games and killing cancer. Who could ask for better? Donation to Runner's Choice.
All right, so what is happening now is N, who is a character from the last game, and his name is just the letter N, has showed up. He technically shows up earlier in the Chargestone Cave. Like, he's never actually on screen, but I'm pretty sure those text boxes belong to him. And then what he did, he stopped Getsis from killing us. But now that he showed up, Getsis actually reveals that it was all his plan all along. He's going to use the DNA splicers to combine Kyurem and Reshiram into one Pokemon that is, in theory, more powerful than both individually. And there will be many cutscenes involved with that. But N is actually an antagonist in the first game. He saved us in this game, but in the original Black and White, he actually battles you frequently throughout the game. And it's revealed at the end that he's actually serving Getsis because he doesn't know better. He was adopted, I believe, early on by Getsis and used as a pawn to, just because he's like a very charismatic leader, to, like, I guess encourage like a bunch of members to join the team to work towards Getsis' real goals, which was to take over Unova, but N actually wanted to save all Pokemon and free them from their trainers. So in the end, he was being used, and in this game, he helps us out. So now that cutscene's over, and there will be like 3 text boxes and then another cutscene. So we do have time for a few more donations for this one actually as well.
All right. $10 from a Wild Ferrothorn. Generation 5 was always my favorite generation of the Pokemon games, and I'm glad to see it get dismantled. Keep on keeping on, Trev. $100 from Lenning. My father was diagnosed with cancer 2 years ago. With early detection, he was able to survive, thrive, and we just celebrated my little brother's wedding. Thanks so much for what you folks do. Put this towards my favorite game of all time, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! $30 from Ryan. Always love watching GDQ events. I'm off today, and I get to see runs from some of my favorite franchises. Keep up that good work saving frames, and let's hit 1 million today. We are now under $13,000 away from the Mike Tyson's Punch-Out incentive. Just rolling right along with that, so we want to get there, and preferably we get there before the end of this run. Keep it going, guys.
All right, so now that the cutscenes are over, we're going to be challenged by Getsis to fight Kyurem here. We cannot catch it, apparently, because I believe the reason is his cane emits a signal, something that stops you from using Pokeballs. That's not an issue. So this is the super powerful Pokemon, the legendary on the box art. We've been waiting all game to see. It's supposed to be extremely powerful. Getsis spent all this time trying to, just for this one goal, to combine it into this Pokemon. And I'm going to Iron Head it. And that's it. There it is. Goodbye. So what Getsis really needed was an Excadrill.
Yeah. It's an Ubers, I mean.
So what we were talking about earlier that can happen is Kyurem can actually theoretically live that Iron Head, but it needs to roll like a plus defense nature and very high defensive stats. It's very unlikely, but if it had happened, he would live the Iron Head with very little health in theory and then kill me. So that did not happen. It's extremely unlikely.
It has happened to Crafted.
Of course it happened to
Classic.
Crafted.
All right, so this is Getsis. He's actually, unfortunately, for all the build-up, just like Kyurem, with one Swords Dance, he's going to be mostly made irrelevant. We really don't want him to protect here. Okay, so the PowerPoint route throughout the rest of the run is very tight. If he used Protect there, I would have actually been down in Earthquake and had to save it somewhere.
It's also really nice. You get a free heal after that fight, so he gets all his PP back, which is really useful here.
Yep,
He was almost out.
Before this fight, I was out of Earthquakes and only had one more Iron Head, so that is good. But we are still on a tight PP route throughout the rest of the run. This is like the only problematic Pokemon. If I miss Rock Slide, that's like it. But I think it has Flamethrower, but not an issue here.
Yeah, this fight with Ember is pretty annoying, but I think you already knew that.
I think it's assumed at this point. Every fight is annoying if you have to use Ember. Excadrill can just plow right through, dude. Swords Dance and its high speed, and just such good, like offensive type, like good offensive moves as well. And that would be it. So that is Getsis. So Team Plasma is once again dismantled. He lost his Kyurem, he lost the legendary Pokemon. He spent literally all game when, in fact, Excadrill is just better, as is the theme with this entire run. And so now he's going to rant a little bit more. And the Shadow Triad, once again, will save him. I believe the reasoning behind why the Shadow Triad serves him is because he saved them when they were younger. And so they're like completely loyal to Getsis at this stage. But they don't really do anything on their own. So now, after this cutscene's over, you may recall that earlier I exited through a cave and then just went right back without an explanation. You are about to find out why, because from here I can use an escape rope, and it's going to go to my last flagged entrance to a cave, and just so happens that by exiting and re-entering that cave, I'm going to go there and save quite a bit of movement, like this. It just barely ends up saving time compared to escape roping to the other entrance. So now with all 8 gym badges and Team Plasma dismantled, we have Victory Road. And Victory Road is kind of scary. It has several spinners. We haven't had spinners in a little bit, but we're going to encounter a few trainers that we could potentially hit. This one in particular is the worst one because of the way you have to dodge him.
Aw.
I only meant to go up 2 tiles. Oh. The bike, dude. I had it, and then...
Yeah.
Oh, dear. All right, that's fine. I dislike this spinner quite a bit, though. He's very annoying. Because sometimes he switches out this Emolga on me. Not always. I'm going to assume he doesn't. No, he does this time. I haven't gotten consistent results. When I originally started running this game, I took notes from somebody else. And they said that... Like, their note said that Emolga will always switch, but since then I've actually had several runs in a row where Emolga doesn't switch out, and that just ends up with me wasting time. So, you Earthquake on Emolga. The strat was Earthquake on Emolga, expecting the switch, but if it doesn't switch, then you end up wasting an Earthquake, and we already mentioned how tight we are on Earthquake, so we really don't want that to happen. So, that's like a bad scenario that nobody wants. So that's one of the 4 spinners. Hopefully we can dodge most of them. That's, I think, the first spinner we've hit all run. All right, so one more cutscene with N here, just telling us what we already knew, that we're heading to the Pokemon League, the Elite Four, and he's going to give us the HM for Waterfall, which we don't actually need to complete the game. It does serve some purpose in some areas, but as far as just getting to the end of the game, we don't need it. So for the most part, that's pretty useless. We have to go through these gates that scan every badge. So we actually have time to read a donation here, because even after this, there's the door.
Actually, perfect timing. I have $500 from Mama Papa Shenanigans. From Mama and Papa Shenanigans, congratulations, SDQ. Great cause, thank you. Good luck on your goals. Grandma Shenanigans and Pop-Pop Shenanigans are cancer survivors. They send their love and appreciation.
Thanks, guys. Love you guys.
while I'm at it, actually, I've got $200 from Giant Robot Tree and his best boy. Shoutouts to Shenanigans on the Couch. I still watch your Blue Run from a few years ago every so often. Money goes to Punch Out, and we are now less than $12,000 away from that Punch Out incentive, but we are running out of time, so make sure you get those donations in.
All right, so this is one of the few force trainers in the Victory Road, but not too difficult. I do have to rock slide this Drift Limit, I guess, if that misses. Like, there are some trainers later in Victory Road that could pose some problems. We don't want my health to fall too low. At the moment, we're good, but if I end up getting a little bit lower, they could potentially KO me if I don't heal. But other than that, this trainer's not that much of an issue. But after this one, we're going to have yet another spinner. Hopefully don't hit any more of them. The first one, anyway, was completely my fault. We have yet to hit a spinner that was actually just, like, getting quick spun on, where they turn right back after turning away. So the only one we've hit was my fault. So I accept the blame for that one. Or I can blame it on the bike, because the bike is silly. All right, so here's another one. Oh, I almost went. Gonna have a stare down. Oh, there we go. Now we're gonna play this safe. Okay. Okay.
Again, the bike just accelerates so fast, it's hard to avoid sometimes.
Ooh, that was close.
All right. And then that girl up there is the last spinner. So we did make it past that one before. And now after this trainer, we'll try to get past that spinner. And if so, there are no more in the run. So by this point, the enemy Pokemon are getting like fairly high level, but at this, like, we're clearly, I mean, as you can see, 11 levels above this Durant, and that's going to be a trend that continues. But regardless, the Pokemon that we're seeing are often like, they have higher base stat totals, they're better in general, often better IVs. So we still have to set up, and some of them are still threatening, particularly when they have super effective moves against Excadrill. We're going to run into a trainer or two where it's a range to take out their Pokemon, and if you miss it, you're going to take a lot of damage in return. But hopefully we just hit the range. Okay, I'm going. Nice. All right, only one spinner. So no more for Victory Roads, just a couple of trainers left. And then let's see how good my darkness room is. It's completely dark. Normally need flash to clear this room, but I should have it memorized. Oh my god. All right, that was terrible, but we were through it. Quite a few bonks there. And now the final two trainers. So this one, I do not believe is an issue. I believe she has the Starmie, the Zebstrika. So this one's not really an issue as far as I know. The other one poses more of a threat, has a couple Pokemon that end up being ranges. And again, we really don't want to have to use extra PP when we don't have to, because we're already so tight route-wise. Because I'm not even, like, before the Elite Four, we're not even going to recover any of it. So I have 4 Earthquakes left. That's good. And then we're going to, I'm going to Rock Slide the Sock first. Hopefully it flinches and it will break its Sturdy. Sock is a Pokemon that has Sturdy. It gave me Bulk Up. Iron Head should still be good enough to take it out. All right, that was fairly good. At least he didn't attack, so our health is still fairly high. Now this one is a little bit more threatening. He has both a Throw and a Golurk that are not guaranteed KOs. If either one of them misses, they're going to throw a very powerful move my way. So we don't want to see that happen. Beartic will fall easily though, thankfully, and then after that it's just going to be those other Pokemon that I mentioned. So I believe Golurk here, I don't quite remember the percentage. It's a little bit better than Throw, if I recall correctly, so hopefully he goes down. Okay, got that one, and now just Throw. That spinner might have also made these ranges a little bit better as well, the one I hit at the beginning of Victory Road, since I'm a higher level than I'd normally be here. Ooh, missed that one. But he ended up not attacking me, so everything's good. And I'll use the Iron Head. I think I have an Iron Head to spare. Like, if I don't have an Iron Head to spare, which I think 8 is... Let me see here. I think I need exactly 8, so that's okay. I had an extra. All right. Final Hue fight. It is the easiest Hue fight out of pretty much all of them, except for like maybe the early game ones. I don't know. He's going to lead with Unfazant. It's going to do nothing except perhaps swagger me, which is a move that confuses me but doubles my attack. So if it does that, it's just, I mean, I can just use an item to recover and go from there. Yeah, there it is. So we're going to actually recover from that confusion. We really don't want to be hitting myself. So the confusion, when you hit yourself in confusion, it actually calculates off of your own attack stat. And since I just Swords Danced and got swaggered, I'd absolutely destroy myself if I hit myself. So that's not even worth the risk. And then the rest of the Pokemon, I mean, I'm at triple attack right now. A Swords Dance and a Swagger puts me at triple. Nothing's surviving. So that's the last of you. Or B. And I think, as far as Iron Heads are concerned, we need 5 of them for the first Elite Four member, and I do believe I have 6. I'll double check, but as long as I have 6, I can use Iron Head here. Otherwise, I'll just use Rock Slide, which risks the miss, but yeah, I have 6. So we're good. Works out perfectly. That being said, we are coming up to the single most threatening Elite Four member. So Gen 5 was the first generation of Pokemon that let you fight the Elite Four in any order you wanted. So we definitely take advantage of that. The way I've managed my power points at this stage, we're going to be fighting the fighting one first. And he's the most threatening to Excadrill just because as a Steel type, he is weak to fighting moves. They all can deal significant damage to him. One of them can actually knock him out outright. It is the scariest Elite Four fight, and generally, oftentimes, most times actually, Excadrill will end up fainting a couple times and having to be revived, but you can get a really optimal fight if you get some Iron Head flinches. I don't think there's a fight as much as this one where some Iron Head flinches would really come in helpful.
Yeah. So one of his Pokemon actually has a move that can one-shot you, but he never uses it.
Alright, so let's do this. I want to see how many Iron Heads we get. Let's see more of that GDQ luck. I've actually been getting good luck for the most part for GDQ, so we're going to see Excadrill fainting several times unless we get some Iron Head flinches. So right away, we want one on throw, because otherwise he's probably going to use Bulldoze to reduce my speed, and that's not good for the rest of the fight. We'll get outsped, so Iron Head flinch right here. Nope. All right, so we have to switch out now to get rid of that. And that is fine. So we'll swap in Ducklet, because I want to keep Pignite if I can. I'm not sure if it'll faint to this. Normally we have like a level... Oh, no, it went for Rock Tomb. It's down. You're dead. All right, so now we got our speed back. We'll come back in, finish it off. Next Pokemon to come in is going to be Mienshao. We outspeed it, take it out in one hit. That one's not an issue, but the one after that's going to be an issue. The next one coming in is Conkeldurr. Conkeldurr we absolutely cannot take out in one hit, and it can do like 200 damage to us. So without this Iron Head flinch, it's absolutely going to KO us unless it like misses. Ooh, we got it though!
Nice.
Alright, it's not over yet though because I'm going to end up... Sawk here has Sturdy. I can't KO it in one hit. I need to break its Sturdy first. So it has another chance to attack me. And Rock Slide can flinch as well. Ooh, we got it though. So I think I'm fainted. Yeah, okay. So we'll send in Pignite now. It's going to faint as well, and we'll just max revive Excadrill. So that's fine. The fight works out. Would have been even faster. So at least we got one. We got one important flinch. That's nice. I think I have had an optimal fight here where I flinched Throw, Conkeldurr, and Sawk all in one run. It was insane. It's very unlikely, though, because, again, the flinch is a 30% chance, so to get that 3 times in a row, what would that be? Like 3%?
Something like that, yeah.
All right, so the next Elite Four member we are going to be fighting is the Dark one, and the only reason for that is you may have noticed we have absolutely no power points left for Iron Head or Earthquake. And I'm not going to be using them outside of battle because I don't need to, because Grimsley here, the Dark Elite 4 member, leads off with a Lipard that's just going to waste my turn with Fake Out. Fake Out is a priority move, so it generally goes first, and it flinches you. Your turn's useless. So I'm just going to use that turn to restore my power points if I can't attack anyway. And then the next two Elite 4 members, actually, their order varies depending on how much health I end this fight with, but I'm probably going to end it with enough, considering my actual HP right now being at full. So we do have a time for a donation here because nothing survives.
All right. I got $150 from Anonymous. I always look forward to taking the week off to watch runners destroy all the games I loved as a kid, especially the bonus blindfolded games. I can't wait to see Mike Tyson's Punch-Out with one controller. I couldn't even finish any of these games with my eyes open. Another $20 from Anonymous. Yours is the Excadrill that will pierce the heavens. Shoutouts to the AGDQ staff for doing an incredible job as always. Much love to everyone involved to make this event happen year after year. As far as that Mike Tyson's Punch-Out incentive goes, we are now just under $10,000 away from that. We have until the end of the Mega Man race to get there, so keep them coming in.
All right, with Grimsley done and me being basically full health, definitely the best Elite 4 member challenge next is going to be Chantal, the ghost one. Just because with Caitlyn, who's going to be the last one, you often get a free heal off. So if you need to heal, you can go to her first. But if not, you want her last so you can get a free heal off before the champion. And the only thing going on with this fight is we don't want to see Will-O-Wisp because it just wastes a turn. It's not like a huge problem. I do have a bunch of full heals to recover from it. But like we've mentioned before, Will-O-Wisp halves your attack if you get burned. But it's also not 100% accurate. So even if we see it, we could end up not getting burned. But it just wastes an extra turn if I get burned. Just because I have to set up a Swords Dance here in the first place. So he did burn me. So now I just waste a turn, get rid of that really quick while he Shadow Balls me. And then from there, ooh, I was supposed to Earthquake. I'm going to get Mummy. That's fine. Normally you Earthquake there because Mummy only activates against contact moves. That's fine. Just waste a little bit of time. I'm not like tight on Iron Heads anymore. I actually have 3 extra, so I just wasted 1 right there, but that's fine. And then the only other thing that could be a problem in this fight, but not really, is Drift Blim here. I have to use Rock Slide on it. Rock Slide is not a contact move, and Drift Blim actually has an ability called Aftermath, where if you KO it with a contact move, you'll take a bunch of residual damage. And the damage itself isn't that much of a problem. It's not gonna like KO me or anything. However, the damage, it just takes time, is what I meant to say.
You saw how much time Mummy wasted. You see another ability take effect, then the HP drain. That's all it is.
Yep. All right, and now Caitlyn. And Caitlyn is by far the easiest Elite 4 member. We often get a free heal on her. If we get turn 1 Reflect, we have to waste a turn healing. And she does that often, so just to be efficient with the turn, if she does do turn 1 Reflect, we spend it healing afterwards, because after that she's going to Yawn. And Yawn is a move that puts me to sleep 1 turn later, and I don't want to be asleep when something other than her first Pokemon comes in, because that can hurt me a lot more. Her lead cannot touch me, cannot hurt me. Its only attacks are Dream Eater and Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt I'm immune to, and Dream Eater it can never hit me with because I can always just cure away the sleep with full heals. So Musharna is like the ideal lead just to set up on. So I'm going to Swords Dance and see if we get Reflector Yawn here. We got Yawn turn 1, so I'm actually not going to heal in the fight. We'll just do another Swords Dance. Heal off the sleep here. It's going to use Dream Eater, but it'll fail. And then now I'm awake, not yawned, with +4 attack, which is 3 times my normal attack. So we're just going to Iron Head away. And again, nothing survives this, so feel free to throw in a donation.
All right. Got $100 from Virac171. Good luck on the run, Trev, and thanks to everyone running the event. As we grow older, there's more and more chances that some people around us or ourselves have to deal with some major diseases, including cancer. That's how life goes. I learned that the hard way this year. This money goes towards dealing with the future. Then we got $200 from Keith. There's no way I'm missing Punch-Out. Let's go.
Let's go, Punch-Out.
Let's go, Punch-Out.
Yeah, it's going to be a really cool run. Really hope it gets met.
Get those donations in. We don't have much time left. All right. So with the Elite Four members done, that's all 4 of them, we can now head to the champion. The champion in this game is different from Black and White, where I mentioned at the very beginning of the run when we ran into him, it was Alder. It is a character that was a gym leader, actually, in the previous set of games, only in White, I believe. Black and White had a different final gym leader. This character was the gym leader in in White, I believe. So some people might already know who it is, but it is a dragon-themed trainer, and there is a couple things that could potentially pose an issue with the fight. We are going to play it safe, just because, like, even though I am unlikely to die, I am going to safety save just because of how much we'd lose, right, if I died. But we should be fine. We're going to heal up Excadrill here, because we do need most of our health for this fight, especially if things go wrong. We're going to heal Pignite, and I'm just going to be super safe and heal. Oh, no, that won't do anything, because I only have 1 max revive anyway. And then we'll safety save. Last one of the run. All right, so, oh no, I saved the game. All right, so the champion is Iris. She was a gym leader. I'm pretty convinced it's White, if I remember correctly. Maybe wrong on that, but now she's the champion. She has a really good theme as well. Some people are really divided on her theme. I think some people just hate it. But I actually think it's really good.
I think it's great.
Oh, yeah.
Especially the beginning part. But the main thing to be concerned about in this final fight is I have to set up a sword stance, as generally is the usual. And Hydreigon here is going to use either Flamethrower or Surf. They're both the same base power, and they're both super effective, so the AI doesn't care which one it uses. But Flamethrower can burn. But thankfully we got Surf, so we don't even have that issue. Flamethrower very rarely, 10% will burn, and if you get burned, you do have to do a bit of fixing of that, because you're going to get hit again, and then Haxorus can kill you, but ended up not being a problem. And then we're not going to encounter anything really interesting here until Haxorus comes out. Haxorus is actually a perfect example of the AI just being incredibly dumb, because very often the same thing will happen. So Haxorus's AI is, I'm not in kill range for Haxorus right now. It will probably Swords Dance. It's going, or Dragon Dance. So after a Dragon Dance, I will be in kill range, but I'm going to Iron Head it down, and as long as it doesn't get flinched and gets that Dragon Dance off, it could totally kill me right now. So let's see what happens here. I did get the flinch. Okay, so what normally happens there, if I don't get lucky, it does have a Focus Sash, so it lives the Iron Head. But if you don't get the flinch, it'll set up a Dragon Dance. And then because the Haxorus is below 25% HP, Iris will always heal it, even though it could kill you right there. Like, it could just take you, it outspeeds you, because Dragon Dance increases your speed. And it has enough damage from the attack increase to kill you. But it's just how the AI works. It prioritizes healing, and because Focus Sash is one time, I then kill it. So it never actually does it. And then this is her final Pokemon, and thankfully, since everything went very smoothly, no problems on the Iris fight. Safety save completely unnecessary. All right, so time will be coming up. We do have to watch this first, but time is going to be as soon as the screen fades after I'm inducted into the Hall of Fame. The screen will fade into black, and I'll call it. Until then, we get to watch this fancy cutscene. It will also show my in-game time, which probably fairly decent. I lost, like, the thing about it is in-game time is going to be a little bit lower than the real time just because I ended up resetting once at Drillbur. So, but all Pokemon runs are actually now timed by RT anyway. It's just interesting to see the in-game time. All right, so inducted into the Hall of Fame, our champion is going to be the very first, and then Pig Knight's going to be in the Hall of Fame, dude. It shouldn't be. So we got Excadrill, and then Ducklet. And Pig Knight should not be here. If everything had gone according to plan, it would be Psyduck.
Even better.
322. All right.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. All right, so time is now. And we unlock easy mode.
Oh, yeah. Wait, too.
Which is actually harder.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so I hope everyone enjoyed the run. Pokemon is definitely out of my comfort zone. Most people know me for Majora's Mask speed runs, hence like the Ice Arrow donation earlier, but I think I did it a pretty good job, and it was actually a pretty good run with good luck. So I hope everyone enjoyed it. Does anyone on the couch have anything to add?
You finished unlike I did.
I was going to say, just, yeah, if you want to learn more about Pokemon speedruns, just check out PokemonSpeedruns.com. Head over there. You can learn more about this run and all other Pokemon runs. Great site. And other than that, great run. Thank
Join
you.
the Discord.
All right, thank you for watching.
All right, let's give it up one more time for TrevPerson on that amazing Pokemon Black, White 2 run. I'm going to go ahead and throw this over to a quick Twitch ad, and then we'll come back and read some more of your donations as we get ready for an interview with Blecky and Zallard to talk about that Punch-Out 2 Games 1 controller incentive. So we will be right back.